Chapter 21. Not long after Jong Yuixin entered the Lin mansion, Jai Yu returned to the Lin mansion. However, he did not see Jong Yuixin and walked straight to his residence. Although he had offended the Lin family's young master, Lin Qixin, he did not take Lin Qixin seriously and continued to come and go as he pleased. After a long time, Jai Yu arrived at his residence. Once he entered the room, he sat on the bed and took out a primary strength pill and an azure mystic pill from his storage ring. He could not wait to eat the azure mystic pill. He was looking forward to how much this first-grade pill would increase his cultivation base. However, Jai Yu still planned to eat the ungraded energy pill first as an appetizer before eating the main event, the azure mystic pill. After eating the primary strength pill, Jai Yu did not feel any obvious increase in his cultivation base. This was because his current cultivation base was higher, so the primary strength pill that did not even have a grade would not have much effect on him. However, he did not pay much attention to it. After all, the primary strength pill was only an appetizer. The azure mystic pill was the main dish. Ding! Master has consumed a King Shuan pill. Martial arts cultivation experience gained 3D999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of body tempering stage level 8. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of body tempering stage level 8. Feeling the increase in his cultivation base, Jai Yu was very satisfied. The azure mystic pill did not disappoint him at all. Now that my cultivation base has reached the peak of body tempering stage level 8, I'm just one step away from breaking through to body tempering stage level 9. That bastard Chen Yan's cultivation base is at the peak of body tempering stage level 9. If I refine 2 more azure mystic pills and consume them, I should be able to crush him, Jai Yu thought to himself. Then, he took out a cauldron and some alchemy materials from his storage ring. This cauldron was the one from the alchemy class. It was also given to him by Yushian. As for the alchemy materials, they were the materials needed to refine the azure mystic pill. Without wasting any time, Jai Yu immediately began to refine the pills. At the same time, in the meeting hall of the Lin mansion, Jong Yuixin seemed to be a little impatient from waiting. Without the slightest trace of politeness, she questioned Lin Jianxin. Where did that guy go? Why hasn't he returned after so long? Miss Zhang, I only know that Kai Chan went to the Kaoyang branch to attend an alchemy class. I'm not sure why he hasn't returned yet. The smile on Lin Jianxin's face was a little forced. No matter what, he was still the head of the family. To be treated like this by a junior was really embarrassing. If the other party was not the second miss of the city lord's mansion, he would have been enraged. He forced himself to endure and continued. However, he has already left for more than 2 hours. He should be back soon. Lin Qixin walked back to the Lin mansion with soulless eyes. Suddenly, he saw an old servant running towards him. Young master! Young master! Hurry up and go to the meeting hall. The city lord's mansion's second miss is looking for you, the old servant hurriedly shouted. What? Lin Qixin was stunned when he heard this. The city lord's mansion's second miss. That Jong Yuixin? Why is she suddenly looking for me? Could it be that she has taken a liking to me? Other than this, Lin Qixin couldn't think of any other reason. This was because he had never seen that Jong Yuixin before, nor did he have any interactions with her. Thinking that Jong Yuixin might have taken a liking to him, Lin Qixin's originally gloomy mood quickly disappeared. Although he had never seen Jong Yuixin before, he had seen Jong Yuixin's older sister, Jong Yuechu. With Jong Yuechu's peerless appearance, as her sister, Jong Yuixin shouldn't be too bad either. Anyways, as long as it was a beauty, he would be happy. Lin Qixin immediately quickened his steps towards the meeting hall. He couldn't wait to see how beautiful Jong Yuixin was. Not long after, Lin Qixin arrived at the meeting hall. Other than his father, there was also a pink-dressed girl and some black-clothed people in the hall. Father, I'm back. Lin Qixin first said to Lin Jianxin. Qixin, you're finally back. Lin Jianxin said with a smile. He then introduced to Jong Yuixin. Miss Zhang, this is my son, Lin Qixin, the #1 martial genius of our Lin family. When Lin Jianxin said this, Lin Qixin's gaze immediately fell on the pink-dressed girl. This was Jong Yuixin? Her appearance wasn't bad. Lin Qixin's eyes flashed with a trace of undetectable greed. If he could get this Jong Yuixin, that would be great. However, Jong Yuixin seemed to have caught Lin Qixin's gaze. A trace of disgust appeared on her delicate face as she said, "The person I'm looking for isn't this Letcher." "Not him," Lin Johnson said with a surprised expression. "But he is indeed the number one martial genius of our Lin family. There is no one else." After saying this, he glared at Lin Kishan. For Miss Jong to call him a Letcher, it must be Lin Kishan's problem again. Lin Kishan's neck shrunk slightly. He didn't expect Jong Yuixin's eyes to be so sharp. But that wasn't the main point. The main point was what was going on. It sounded like Jong Yuixin came to the Lin family to find the number one martial genius. But wasn't the number one martial genius of the Lin family him? I remember very clearly that it's definitely not him. Although that guy is a bit of a bastard, at least he's much more handsome than him. Jong Yuixin didn't hold back and said whatever she wanted to say. She couldn't help but wonder if that bastard lied to her and wasn't from the Lin family at all. Chapter 22. Lin Janshin was speechless and didn't know what to say. Lin Kishan's face was also a bit ugly. She was clearly saying that he was ugly. Lin Janshin forced a smile on his face and asked, "Then can Miss Jong describe his appearance in detail? If he is really someone from the Lin family, I can help you find him." Appearance. His face is quite handsome. He looks around 16 or 17 years old. The most special thing is that he always wears a strange black robe. Jong Yuixin thought carefully and said. Lin Janshin thought for a while and shook his head. Our Lin family doesn't have such a person. Lin Kishan also thought for a while. 16 or 17 years old, always wearing a black robe. Wait. At this moment, he almost blurted out, "It can't be that brat, right?" Hearing Lin Kishan's sudden exclamation, Jong Yuixin immediately asked, "Do you know that guy?" "I know one, but he shouldn't be the person Miss Jong is looking for. He's only talented in alchemy, but he can't be the number one martial genius of our Lin family." Speaking of that person, Lin Kishan's face was very strange and his heart was full of resentment. Talented in alchemy, Jong Yuixin frowned slightly. That bastard's martial strength was very strong. Normally speaking, his alchemy skills couldn't be as strong. Maybe it really wasn't the same person. But no matter what, she still wanted to see him first. She said, "Go find him for me. I want to see him." It will take a lot of time to find him. During this time, Miss Jong Lin Kishan said with a bit of difficulty, "During this time, I will stay in your Lin family until you find that guy." "What, do you have a problem with that?" Jong Yuixin said coldly. "No problem? Of course no problem." Lin Kishan was very uncomfortable, but he could only smile. After that, Lin Janshin went to arrange accommodations for Jong Yuixin and the others, leaving Lin Kishan alone in the meeting hall. His expression was extremely ugly. He had just been slapped in the face in alchemy class, and now he had to submit to Jong Yuixin. He felt extremely humiliated. As the young master of the Lin family, when had he ever suffered such grievances? Since he couldn't touch Jong Yuixin, he planned to vent all his resentment on that brat. Even if Jong Yuixin didn't say anything, he would find out who that kid was. Once Jong Yuixin confirmed that the brat was not the person he was looking for, he would make that brat pay a painful price. At this time, Jiayu was still refining the Azure Mystic Pill. She had no idea what was going on in the meeting hall. Ding! Master has successfully refined a King Shuin pill. Experience gained in alchemy, 199 times. In less than an hour, Jiayu had successfully refined an Azure Mystic Pill. This time, his alchemy technique was much more skillful than the first time he refined the Azure Mystic Pill. The entire alchemy process was much smoother, and even the time it took was much shorter. He could guarantee that the next time he refined the Azure Mystic Pill, he would be even better. First, because successfully refining an alchemy pill would greatly increase his alchemy skills. Second, because the more he refined the Azure Mystic Pill, the more proficient he would naturally become. Jiayu was not in a hurry to consume the Azure Mystic Pill. Instead, she began to refine the second set of ingredients. When the time came, it would be more satisfying to consume the two Azure Mystic Pills together. This time, it took less time than before. Jiayu only used about 40 minutes to successfully refine the Azure Mystic Pill. Just like that, two high-quality Azure Mystic Pills appeared in Jiayu's hands. Without any hesitation, she swallowed the two Azure Mystic Pills together. Ding! Congratulations, Master! Your martial cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. Following the breakthrough of his martial cultivation from the perfect stage of the 8th level of the body tempering stage to the late stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, Jiayu instantly felt the profound energy in her body explosively increased. It was obvious that the higher the cultivation, the harder it was to break through. Consuming 2 high-quality first-grade Azure Mystic pills together only allowed her to break through 3 small realms. It seems that I still have a long way to go before I can break through to the defensive Mystic realm, Jiayu thought to herself. But with my current cultivation, it is enough. As long as I use my profound skills, I will be able to crush Chen Yan. Chapter 23. A body-tempering realm martial artist's comprehension and acceptance were limited. Although Chen Yan was the eldest young master of the Chen family, his cultivation was still in the body-tempering realm. He would definitely be unable to cultivate a superior yellow rank profound skill. Even a middle yellow rank profound skill would be difficult for him to cultivate. However, Jiayu was completely different. She didn't need to learn a profound skill as the system itself came with a profound skill that could be upgraded. Currently, he had 2 middle yellow rank profound skills that would soon be upgraded to superior yellow rank. Furthermore, he was at the late stage of the 9th level of the body tempering realm. Even if Chen Yan's cultivation was at the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering realm, he wouldn't be a match for him.
Since I want to strengthen my profound skill,
I'll make a trip to the martial arts field. Jiayu muttered to herself as she walked out of the room and headed to the martial arts field. Not long after, Jiayu arrived at the Lin family's martial arts field. This was a martial arts field specially built by the Lin family for all the Lin family disciples to cultivate. At this moment, there were many Lin family disciples on the martial arts field. Some were cultivating basic techniques, some were cultivating fist techniques, and some were gathered together to brag. Jiayu didn't greet anyone as she prepared to cultivate her profound skill. Ding! Master has used Soaring Cloud Steps. Soaring Cloud Steps obtained experience, 59099x. The moment he used the Soaring Cloud Steps, his figure disappeared from his original spot and appeared not far away in the next moment. This shocking speed attracted the attention of many Lin family disciples on the martial arts field. Fuck, did you guys see that? That guy's speed is so fast. I saw it too. That guy moved so far away in the blink of an eye. He should have used some kind of yellow rank profound skill. When did our Lin family have such a powerful person? Why haven't I seen him before? The surrounding Lin family disciples were all shocked. When they saw Jiayu's true appearance, a small portion of them suddenly recalled something. Wait, I've seen this youth before. He seems to be a servant of our Lin family. You're not joking, right? With such strength, how could he be a mere servant? It seems to be true. I also remember that he was a servant. I used to ask him to do things. Many people immediately began to argue about this matter. However, Jiayu didn't care about these people in the slightest. She continued to use Soaring Cloud Steps to strengthen her movement technique. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank medium grade profound skill Soaring Cloud Steps has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding! It has been detected that the middle yellow grade mystical skill, Soaring Cloud Steps, has been fully upgraded to the high yellow grade mystical skill, Ling Tian Steps. After an unknown amount of time, Jiayu finally upgraded the mid-yellow rank Soaring Cloud Steps to a high yellow rank profound movement skill. During this period of time, almost all of the Lin family members in the martial arts field had forgotten about their own cultivation and were constantly looking at the black-robed youth. This was the first time they had seen someone who could move at such a fast speed. Furthermore, he didn't stop at all. Why does he keep flashing here and there? Could it be that he's cultivating some sort of profound movement skill? He must be using some sort of profound movement skill. Under normal circumstances, it's impossible to be as fast as him. Even if he's cultivating a movement skill, it's still too scary. Not to mention how high the level of the movement skill he's using is. He's still not exhausted even after using it so many times. His martial cultivation is definitely not ordinary. The main point is that he's also a servant of our Lin family. I really don't understand why he wants to be a servant of our Lin family. The surrounding Lin family members were discussing about Jiayu. They didn't know that Jiayu had already broken away from the status of a servant. At the same time, Jiayu's movement skill had already been upgraded to the high yellow grade. He finally stopped. He planned to first rest and recover the profound Kai in his body before starting to cultivate his fist technique. After about half an hour, Jiayu felt that he had more or less recovered and prepared to start cultivating his fist technique. During this half an hour, not a single Lin family member dared to disturb him. At most, they would sneak a few glances or whisper a few words in private. After that, Jiayu stood up and walked towards a wooden stake. The people standing around the wooden stake all consciously dispersed. They instinctively had a sense of awe towards the strong. The following scene completely stunned them. They saw the black-robed youth throw a punch. With a pang sound, the entire wooden stake was instantly smashed into pieces. At this moment, all of the Lin family members present were flabbergasted and dumbstruck. They didn't dare to believe what they had just seen. Just one punch was able to smash the wooden stake into pieces. The wooden stakes in their Lin family's martial arts field were specially made of extremely hard materials. In the past, there was basically no Lin family member who was able to damage the wooden stakes. It was said that only geniuses at the 9th level of the tempered body stage could cause damage to these wooden stakes. But this black-robed youth actually smashed the wooden stake into pieces with one punch. Didn't this mean that this youth's martial cultivation was at least at the 9th level of the tempered body stage? Chapter 24. Jiayu had used all of his strength in this 7-strength fist. But he didn't expect that he would accidentally break the wooden stake. He didn't know if he would be asked for compensation. Forget it, since I've already broken one, I'll continue. Jiayu couldn't be bothered to care so much and continued to walk to the next wooden stake. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The middle-grade yellow-rank profound skill 7-strength fist has successfully broken through to perfection. Another punch smashed the wooden stake. At the same time, Jiayu's 7-strength fist had also reached the perfection realm. As long as it broke through again, it would automatically upgrade to a high-grade yellow-rank profound skill. Now, he had already smashed 2 wooden stakes, followed by the 3rd, 4th, 5th, until Jiayu used his fist to smash more than half of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field. Many of the surrounding Lin family disciples suddenly reacted. Wait, why is this guy still destroying the wooden stakes? Is this guy crazy? He has no intention of stopping at all. Could it be that he wants to destroy all the wooden stakes here? Hurry up and stop him. If we are discovered, we will all be in trouble. Damn it, you make it sound so easy. Why don't you try stopping him? Everyone knew the severity of the matter, but no one dared to go forward and stop the black-robed youth. Even the sturdy wooden stakes couldn't withstand a single punch from the youth. If they rashly ran up, they would probably break apart. At this moment, a scolding voice came from behind them. Why are you all standing there in a daze? Why aren't you going to practice martial arts? A tall and sturdy middle-aged man walked over. When the Lin family disciples saw that it was Manager Lin, they immediately opened their mouths. Manager Lin, quickly look. That guy has already destroyed more than half of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field. That's right, with that guy doing this, we won't be able to properly practice martial arts. We also want to stop him, but we can't beat him. Hearing these complaints, the tall and sturdy middle-aged man called Manager Lin frowned and raised his head to look at the black-robed youth. In the next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. He originally thought that these fellows were exaggerating. How could anyone destroy the wooden stakes in the martial arts field? However, the reality in front of him was that most of the wooden stakes in the martial arts field had turned into debris. You brat, stop! The burly middle-aged man came back to his senses and immediately rebuked the black-robed youth. Jiayu chose to ignore the burly middle-aged man's voice because he felt that his 7-strength fist was about to break through to the greater perfection realm, which meant that it could be upgraded to a superior yellow rank fist technique. Ding! Congratulations, Master! The yellow rank medium grade 7-strength fist has successfully broken through to the peak of perfection. Ding! It has been detected that the middle yellow rank profound skill 7-strength fist experience bar is full. It has been automatically upgraded to the upper yellow rank profound skill stone breaking fist. Seeing that this brat dared to ignore him, the burly middle-aged man angrily walked towards Jiayu. Didn't you hear what I said? Scram! Jiayu spat out 2 words. You? After being provoked by a little brat time and time again, the burly middle-aged man could no longer bear it. You little brat, see how I'll take care of you. He slapped towards Jiayu, only to see that Jiayu executed the stone-crushing fist at an even faster speed. because Jiayu's speed was too fast. The burly middle-aged man was unable to react in time. In the next moment, the burly middle-aged man flew a few meters away and crashed onto the ground, unconscious. At this moment, the surrounding Lin family members were scared silly. They were very clear that manager Lin had a cultivation at the perfect 8th level of the body tempering stage. But he was knocked down by a single punch from the black-robed youth, without the slightest chance to retaliate. At this moment, Jiayu looked at the burly middle-aged man on the ground without a trace of pity in his eyes. Those wooden stakes weren't valuable, and he could pay for them at any time. But this guy just had to come looking for trouble. Wasn't he just asking for trouble? Now that the fist and movement profound skills had both been upgraded to superior yellow-level profound skills, Jiayu didn't plan to continue staying here and slowly left. Jiayu walked out of the Lin family mansion and prepared to stroll around the streets. Not long after he left the Lin family mansion, he suddenly discovered a man pasting something on the wall. He curiously walked over to take a look and shockingly discovered that it was a portrait of himself. The portrait on the wall was exactly the same as him, and below it was a bounty of 1,000 gold coins. This was clearly a bounty poster. Jiayu frowned and immediately used the cloud-soaring steps to arrive in front of the man who had just pasted the portrait. He directly grabbed the man's neck with one hand and coldly questioned, "Who ordered you to put this up?" The man looked at Jiayu with a face full of fear and stuttered, It's young Master Chen Yan." After obtaining the answer, Jiayu immediately exerted some force. With a crack, the man's neck was directly broken by him. This person was obviously Chen Yan's lackey, so he naturally wouldn't let him off so easily. At this moment, Jiayu's eyes turned gloomy and fierce. "Damn you, Chen Yan. You're really trying to kill us all." Chapter 25. Fortunately, Jiayu had the 999 times cultivation system, so he had nothing to fear. The bounty was only marked with a bounty of 1,000 gold coins. This kind of bounty could only attract some lone warriors with small strength at most. Any martial cultivator with some influence or strength would not be interested in this kind of bounty. Moreover, with his current strength, unless it was a defensive profound realm expert, no one would be able to pose a threat to him. Jiayu wished he could kill Chen Yan right now, but there were so many experts in the Chen clan that he couldn't just barge into the Chen clan. The only thing he could do now was to increase his strength while looking for a suitable opportunity. If it really didn't work out, he could wait until he was strong enough to go against the entire Chen clan and then settle the score with Chen Yan. A gentleman's revenge was never too late. Strength was the true king. At this time, Jiayu was no longer in the mood to go shopping. He planned to return to his residence and cultivate in seclusion. At the same time, Lin Kishin had already sent people to investigate the identity of the black-robed youth. He was now waiting for news. "Young master, I found out the identity of the black-robed youth." At this time, a middle-aged man barged in. Lin Kishin's eyes lit up. "Speak." "The black-robed youth's real name is Jiayu. He was adopted by an ordinary family when he was young. A year ago, he came to our Lin family and became a servant. A few days ago, he was no longer a servant. Recently, he has been active in our Lin clan," the middle-aged man said. Lin Kishin was slightly startled. He didn't expect that kid to be related to the Lin family. "Then what's his cultivation level?" Lin Kishin continued to ask. "A year ago, when he came to our Lin family, he was only at the 2nd level of the body tempering stage. It seems that he had just broken through to the 3rd level of the body tempering stage." The middle-aged man thought for a moment before replying. "All right, you can leave." Lin Kishin nodded and said indifferently, "Yes." The middle-aged man immediately left the place. Not long after the middle-aged man left, Lin Kishin suddenly laughed. "Ha ha ha, so it's a piece of trash." At the same time, he was certain that this brat was definitely not the person that Zhang Yuixin was looking for. After all, the person that Zhang Yuixin mentioned seemed to possess a very high level of martial arts. It was impossible for him to be a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage. At this moment, a sinister look flashed in his eyes, as if he was scheming something. At this very moment, Jiayu was cultivating her profound energy in her own room. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the door. "Jiayu, right? The head of the Lin family wants you to go to the discussion hall. He said that the 2nd miss of the city lord's estate is looking for you." The person outside the door seemed to leave as soon as he finished speaking. Jiayu immediately withdrew from her cultivation state, and a trace of doubt flashed in her eyes. Why did that little girl, Jung Yuixin, suddenly come to find him at this time? He walked out of the room and headed for the meeting hall. Not long after, Jiayu arrived at the Lin Mansion's meeting hall. She saw that there were only two people in the meeting hall, Lin Qixin and Zhang Yuixin. Jiayu first looked at Lin Qixin, only to see that Lin Qixin was looking at her with a ridiculing gaze. Zhang Yuixin also saw Jiayu walking in. She immediately revealed a joyful expression and said, "You bastard, you're finally here." At this moment, Lin Qixin was dumbfounded. This wasn't right. This brat was clearly a trash. Shouldn't the person that Zhang Yuixin was looking for not be this brat? "Why did you come to find me?" Jiayu expressionlessly asked. "You're really boring." Seeing Jiayu's expression, Zhang Yuixin shook her head and sighed. Then, she took out a white card from her bosom. "Here, this is the 2,000 gold coins that I owed you last time. This time, I'll pay you back in full." Jiayu took the white card and was a bit surprised. "I didn't think that you would take the initiative to pay me back." If Zhang Yuixin didn't mention this matter, he would have forgotten that she still owed him 2,000 gold coins. "Really, what kind of person do you think this miss is?" Zhang Yuixin wrinkled her nose and unhappily said, "No matter what, this miss won't go so far as to not pay back." "Yes, yes, yes," Jiayu casually said. Hearing Jiayu and Zhang Yuixin's conversation, Lin Qixin's expression became more and more strange. He didn't think that this brat would not only know Zhang Yuixin, but also have a good relationship with her. Now he couldn't make a move on this brat. "If you don't have anything else, I'll go back first." Jiayu put the white card in his pocket and said to Zhang Yuixin, "Don't be in a hurry to go back. This miss did come to find you for something else." Zhang Yuixin said, "I'm going to the Demon Beast Mountain Range to collect some medicinal herbs. I want you to go with me." "Sorry, I can't help you with this." Jiayu shook his head almost without hesitation. Chapter 26. Why? Don't you like to hunt demonic beasts in the Demonic Beast Mountain Range? Zhang Yuixin asked, unable to understand. "Do you still need to ask why? I don't want to bring a burden along." Jiayu said without hesitation, "Kid, it's your fortune that Miss Zhang is willing to bring you to the Demonic Beast Mountain Range. Don't be so shameless." At this moment, Lin Qixin couldn't help but interrupt. He really couldn't stand it anymore. Even he had to be obedient in front of Zhang Yuixin. But this kid dared to speak so impudently to Zhang Yuixin. Not to mention that he felt unbalanced in his heart. If this kid said something wrong and angered Zhang Yuixin, then the entire Lin family would suffer a calamity. "You don't have the right to speak here. Scram to the side," Jiayu said coldly. Lin Qixin suddenly became angry and was about to flare up. But he heard Zhang Yuixin echo, That's right. You don't have the right to interrupt when we're talking." This time, Lin Qixin was completely dumbfounded. He was clearly speaking up for Zhang Yuixin, but Zhang Yuixin not only didn't appreciate it, but also scolded him along with the kid. He felt more and more strange. This kid was so impudent, but Zhang Yuixin didn't seem angry at all. What was the relationship between this kid and Zhang Yuixin? Lin Qixin still didn't believe it and continued, "Miss Zhang, I think you shouldn't invite this kid. This kid is purely a martial arts trash and won't be of any help to you. Why don't I accompany you to the Demonic Beast Mountain Range?" When Lin Qixin said this, before Jiayu could say anything, Zhang Yuixin said with a displeased face, "What? You said he's trash?" She had seen Jiayu's strength with her own eyes. She admitted that she was much weaker than that guy. But this Lin Qixin actually said that guy was trash. Didn't that mean that she was worse than trash? What else? This kid is just a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage. It's embarrassing to say it out loud," Lin Qixin said with disdain. After hearing Lin Qixin's words, Zhang Yuixin's expression gradually turned somewhat strange. "He's a trash at tempered body 3rd layer?" Zhang Yuixin looked at Jiayu strangely. Jiayu just smiled and didn't say anything. Wasn't this bastard at least at the 9th level of the body tempering stage? When did he become a trash at the 3rd level of the body tempering stage? Seeing Jiayu's expression, Zhang Yuixin seemed to have understood something. This bastard must have tricked Lin Qixin. She immediately thought of something interesting and said to Lin Qixin, "You said he's trash, right? But I'm not as strong as him, so you're saying I'm not even trash?" Lin Qixin wanted to say yes, but when he heard Zhang Yuixin's words, he felt that something was wrong and quickly shut his mouth. His entire body was frozen. For a moment, he couldn't react to what was going on. If he said yes, he would offend Miss Jong. If he said no, he felt that something was wrong. He didn't know if he should say yes or no. After a while, Lin Kishan suddenly reacted. Jiayu, that brat is clearly a trash at the third level of the body tempering stage. Then why did Miss Jong say that he was calling him trash? Lin Kishan clearly remembered that the eldest miss of the city lord's mansion was the #1 martial genius in the entire Kaohsiung ancient city. The second Miss Martial Talent was only second to the eldest miss. Logically speaking, Zhang Yuixin's strength shouldn't be inferior to Jiayu's brat. The more Lin Kishan thought, the more he couldn't understand. What was going on? Seeing Lin Kishan's foolish appearance, Zhang Yuixin almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. But she didn't plan to continue joking. Her expression was normal as she said to Lin Kishan, "I'll let you off for speaking rudely to me. You don't have to do anything now." Then she turned to Jiayu and said, "Let's go, Jiayu." Jiayu didn't say anything and followed Zhang Yuixin out of the hall. He didn't want to stay with Lin Kishan anymore. Even after Zhang Yuixin and Jiayu left, Lin Kishan was still wondering how he had offended Miss Zhang. Chapter 27. What do you think? I helped you to tease that guy. Don't you have anything to say? Walking on the road, Zhang Yuixin asked Jiayu. In Jiayu's eyes, this guy was like a child asking for praise from his parents. He thought for a moment, then put his hand on Zhang Yuixin's head and patted it. He praised, "Yes, yes, you are very good." Zhang Yuixin was stunned and didn't react for a while. The next moment, she quickly slapped away Jiayu's hand and pointed at Jiayu with shame and indignation. You, don't treat me like a child." Although that feeling, she didn't hate it. "Didn't I do as you said?" Jiayu was a little confused. This was clearly what the other party asked. "I don't want you to touch my head. I want you to go with me to the Demon Beast Mountain Range," Zhang Yuixin said. "So you are talking about that. You should have said it earlier," Jiayu said helplessly. Zhang Yuixin couldn't help trembling with anger. This bastard touched her head inexplicably. Why did he make it seem like she was wrong? Okay, I will go with you to the Demon Beast Mountain Range," Jiayu said with a smile. After what happened in the conference hall just now, his perception of Zhang Yuixin had changed a little. He felt that this guy was not as annoying as before. Instead, he felt that this guy was quite cute. It just so happened that he could go to the Demon Beast Mountain Range to hunt demon beasts and earn more gold coins. In the future, when he had enough gold coins, he could buy materials to refine elixirs and sell them. This kind of profit was very high. He could earn a lot of gold coins very soon. That's good. The anger on Zhang Yuixin's face disappeared in an instant and was replaced by joy. "Then I will come to you tomorrow. Where do you live?" Seeing how Zhang Yuixin's expression changed so quickly, Jiayu couldn't help but sigh. Women really changed their expressions faster than flipping a book. He pointed in a certain direction. "Go straight down this road and stop in front of a small forest. Then, turn right. After a while, you'll see a small thatched hut. That's where I live." "A small thatched hut? You actually live in such a place?" Zhang Yuixin had a look of disbelief on her face. "I seriously suspect that you're lying to me." With this guy's ability, she didn't believe that this guy would be willing to live in such a place. "Why would I lie to you?" After thinking about it, Jiayu was too lazy to explain. "Forget it. It's up to you whether you believe me or not." "All right, I'll trust you this time." Zhang Yuixin still chose to believe Jiayu. Even if this guy was really lying to her, she could find this guy at any time. It was just that it was relatively more troublesome. "Then I'll go back first." After speaking, Jiayu walked back to his residence. Soon after, Jiayu returned to his residence. He sat on the bed and recalled what happened earlier. From his observation, that Lin Kishan should have already sent people to investigate his background. But no matter how much they investigated, it was practically impossible to know his performance in the Demon Beast Mountain Range. That was why they said that he was a trash at the third level of the body tempering stage. Moreover, from the fact that Lin Kishan didn't mention Chen Yan, he guessed that that guy probably didn't know about Chen Yan's actions. Thinking up to here, Jiayu couldn't help but coldly smile. That dog Chen Yan really hit it well. There probably wasn't a third party in the entire Kaohsiung city who knew about that dog's murder and robbery. After pondering for a while, Jiayu didn't find any key clues. Thus, he didn't think about those things anymore and prepared to continue cultivating his profound kai. Ding! Master cultivated the martial Dao for 1 minute. Martial Dao cultivation obtained experience points. 1999 times. Ding! Master cultivated the martial Dao for 1 minute. Martial Dao cultivation obtained experience points. 1999 times. An entire night had passed. Although his cultivation still hadn't broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, you could feel that his current cultivation had stabilized by a lot. Recently, he had been using medicinal pills to increase his cultivation. Although the system minimized the drawbacks of using medicinal pills, the drawbacks accumulated, causing him to feel that his cultivation was slightly unstable. Thus, it was necessary to stabilize his cultivation from time to time. It's already morning. I'll go to the Kaoyang branch and get the alchemist badge first. Yu opened his eyes and looked out the window as he muttered to himself. Chapter 28. Kaoyang Ancient City, Kaoyang Branch. A man in a black robe walked out of the Kaoyang branch. He was none other than Yu. He had already received his alchemist badge. There was a badge with a purple star engraved on it. The number of stars represented the alchemist's grade. The color of the stars represented low grade, mid grade, and high grade. For example, white represented low grade, blue represented mid grade, and purple represented high grade. Therefore, the badge with a purple star engraved on it in Yu's hand symbolized that he was a first-grade superior alchemist. After becoming a first-grade superior alchemist, he would be able to enjoy the corresponding benefits. He had just received a lot of alchemy materials from the Kaoyang branch. Furthermore, he would be able to enjoy a discount when trading pills in a place like the Kaoyang branch. After returning to the thatched cottage in the Lin mansion, Yu immediately took out the alchemy furnace and a pile of alchemy materials from his storage ring. These alchemy materials were given to him by the Kaoyang branch for free. They could be used to refine various low-grade and mid-grade elixirs. Yu immediately started a fire and placed a set of materials into the alchemy furnace. Ding! It has been detected that Master has started to refine the low-grade elixir Mystic Recovery Pill. The success rate of refining pills has increased by 999 times. About 10 minutes later, a profound returning pill was successfully refined by him. Yu then continued to refine other elixirs. Since these elixirs were all low-grade and mid-grade elixirs, he was able to refine them quickly and easily. In just over an hour, he had finished refining all the elixirs. Ding! Congratulations, Master! Your alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to a second-grade inferior alchemist. After Yu finished refining all the elixirs, his alchemy attainment had also been upgraded to a second-grade inferior alchemist. His alchemy skills and soul power had also increased tremendously. He looked at the elixirs that he had refined. 5 of them were for cultivating celestial kai, while the other 3 were for recovering celestial kai. He casually grabbed the 5 pills used to cultivate Xuan kai and directly stuffed them into his mouth. Ding! Congratulations, Master! Your martial Dao cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. You originally thought that these 5 elixirs would allow his cultivation to break through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage, but it stopped at the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. However, he could feel that he was just a little bit away from breaking through from the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. It was just a matter of time. Dong dong dong, at this moment, there was a knock on the door. Immediately after, a voice sounded. Yu, I'm here. Yu knew that the person was Zhang Yuixin. She slowly walked over and opened the door. As soon as the door opened, a cute little head poked in. Wow, you actually live in a place like this? Zhang Yuixin exclaimed. Didn't I tell you? You just didn't believe me? Yu said, Wait outside for a while. I need to prepare something. After speaking, Yu walked back into the house to prepare, but Zhang Yuixin directly followed her in. He glanced at Zhang Yuixin, who walked into the house behind him, but didn't say anything. Zhang Yuixin looked around the entire thatched house and said in surprise, I didn't expect your house to be so clean and simple. Speaking of which, why don't you live in a better place? I'm used to living here, Yu said indifferently. At this moment, he was putting away the pill furnace and the remaining 3 profound returning pills into his spatial ring. When Zhang Yuixin saw this, she suddenly recalled that Lin Kishan said that this guy's talent in the Tao of alchemy was very high. She asked curiously, So you're a pill master? Your talent in the Tao of alchemy should be very high, right? It's just so-so. Jai Yu said casually. Tusk, I knew you would say that. Zhang Yuixin looked at Jai Yu with disdain. I'm ready, we can go now. At this time, Jai Yu said, then let's go. With that, Zhang Yuixin followed Jai Yu out of the thatched house. After a few steps, Zhang Yuixin said again, don't you want to cover your face with a black robe first? Jai Yu looked at Zhang Yuixin with a slightly changed expression. It seems that you already know. Of course, this young lady is not blind. Now the streets are full of wanted posters for you. Zhang Yuixin said, since you already know, you still dare to be with me? Jai Yu said while covering his face with a black robe. Why wouldn't I dare? Zhang Yuixin said proudly. Although I don't know what happened to you, it has nothing to do with me inviting you to the Demon Beast Mountain Range. What's more, as the second young lady of the City Lord's mansion, she doesn't need to put the Chen family in her eyes. Jai Yu couldn't help but smile softly. That's true. Zhang Yuixin suddenly seemed to be keenly aware of something. Did you just smile? No. You must have smiled. Take off your black robe and let me see. I said no, don't make trouble. Chapter 29. At this moment, Jai Yu and Zhang Yuixin had arrived at the Demon Beast Mountain Range. Speaking of which, I still don't know what kind of medicinal material you want to collect. At this time, Jai Yu suddenly thought of something and asked. It's a kind of purple sun grass, which usually grows next to swamps. Zhang Yuixin said. Purple sun grass? Jai Yu thought for a moment. This was a relatively precious medicinal material, which was the main ingredient needed to refine some second-grade medicinal pills. But speaking of swamps, he remembered that there were not many swamps in the outer area of the Demon Beast Mountain Range. I remember that there are no swamps in the outer area of the Demon Beast Mountain Range. Did you go deep into the inner area? Jai Yu asked. Yes, but the swamps are located at the junction of the outer area and the inner area. It's more dangerous, so I deliberately went to find you. Zhang Yuixin said. Speaking of which, I've been wanting to ask for a long time. Aren't you the second miss of the City Lord Mansion? Why don't you ask those powerhouses of the City Lord Mansion to accompany you? Jai Yu said. No, Zhang Yuixin suddenly said excitedly. Her face was slightly pale, and she struggled to shake her head. They can't. Noticing that Zhang Yuixin's state was very strange, Jai Yu immediately knew that he said something wrong, but he couldn't understand why Zhang Yuixin was so excited. After a while, Zhang Yuixin realized that she was wrong, but her expression was still a little depressed. Sorry, I just lost my composure. Okay, let's not talk about this. Let's hurry to the swamps. Jai Yu immediately changed the topic. Although he didn't know what happened to Zhang Yuixin, he felt that it was better not to ask. And Zhang Yuixin tried to calm her emotions. Along the way, Jai Yu and Zhang Yuixin encountered all kinds of rank 1 beasts. All of them were taken care of by Jai Yu. Not only did her heaven-trampling steps and stone-breaking fist reach the initial success stage, but she also obtained a lot of demonic beast materials. After another 10 minutes, they finally arrived at their destination. In front of them was a huge swamp. The trees on all sides had withered, giving people a feeling of death. We'd better be careful. Not far ahead is the intersection between the outer and inner regions. If we're unlucky, we might encounter a rank 2 monster beast. Zhang Yuixin said as she looked ahead warily. Yes. Jai Yu nodded. A rank 2 demonic beast was equivalent to a human cultivator in the defensive profound realm. As long as a random rank 2 demonic beast appeared, they would have to flee. Unless it was a demonic beast that had just broken through to the first stage of second grade, Jai Yu might be able to contend against it. After all, a rank 1 monster beast and a rank 2 monster beast were like the body tempering realm and the defensive profound realm. There was an insurmountable gap between the two. I see purple sungrass. At this moment, Zhang Yuixin exclaimed softly. Jai Yu followed Zhang Yuixin's gaze and saw a stalk of purple sungrass standing firmly at the edge of the swamp. Without waiting for him to speak, Zhang Yuixin quickly walked over. Wait! Jai Yu wanted to stop Zhang Yuixin, but it was too late. Oh no! Jai Yu cursed in his heart. This was because he sensed an extremely strong demonic aura in the swamp. There was definitely an undefeatable existence hidden in the swamp. At this moment, Zhang Yuixin had already walked to the edge of the swamp and reached out to pluck the purple sun grass. In the next moment, a huge gray python with red stripes all over its body rushed out from the swamp, opening its bloody mouth and charging towards Zhang Yuixin. Jong Yuixin was dumbfounded when she saw the gigantic mouth coming at her. Her smile froze on her face. Luckily, Jai Yu's reaction was fast enough, and he immediately used the Ling Qian steps. In the blink of an eye, Jai Yu appeared next to Jong Yuixin in a flash. She quickly carried Jong Yuixin in her arms and performed the heaven-trampling steps again to escape. At this moment, Jong Yuixin finally regained her senses. Due to the huge shock, not only did she not realize that Jai Yu was carrying her in a princess carry, she even used her hands to hug Jai Yu's neck tightly. Jai Yu originally thought that he had escaped safely, but found that the red-striped python's speed was shockingly fast, chasing after him relentlessly. He gritted his teeth with an ugly expression. This red-striped python was obviously a second-grade demonic beast, and it was not an ordinary second-grade demonic beast. It was an existence that he could not fight against at all. Furthermore, he was still carrying Jong Yuixin, so his speed was more or less affected. It was extremely difficult for him to completely escape from this red-striped python. But no matter what, Jai Yu could not just stand there and wait for death, so he continued to use the Ling Qian steps to escape. Jong Yuixin seemed to have realized that she was being carried by Jai Yu, but she did not struggle. Instead, she tried to relax her body to reduce the pressure on Jai Yu. After escaping for an unknown period of time, Jai Yu had even forgotten how many times he had used the Ling Qian steps, but he was still unable to escape from the red-striped python's pursuit. "Jai Yu, put me down." At this moment, Jong Yuixin said with a sorrowful expression. However, Jai Yu completely ignored her and focused on escaping. "To be honest, if this continues, we will both die. Why don't you let me? A burden. Hold it back. At least you can escape." Jong Yuixin still did not give up on her idea. She took out the purple sun grass and continued. "I only have one last request. I hope that you can give this purple sun grass to my sister. I will not leave you behind." Jai Yu looked ahead with a serious expression and said this with a heavy tone. Jong Yuixin was slightly stunned, then said with a struggling expression, "Don't joke around. If this continues, you will also die." "Don't worry, neither of us will die," Jai Yu said in a low voice. This was because he could feel that his Ling Qian steps was about to break through to the mastery level. Once he broke through to that level, his speed would definitely be faster than the red-striped python behind him. After hearing Jai Yu's words, Jong Yuixin knew that no matter what she said, this guy would not listen. She sighed sadly in her heart. She immediately regretted bringing Jai Yu to the Demon Beast mountain range. The current situation was all her fault. Chapter 30. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow rank superior profound skill Ling Qian steps has successfully broken through to the mastery stage. After using the Ling Qian steps for God knows how many times, the system finally strengthened the Ling Qian steps to the realm of mastery. Jai Yu was immediately overjoyed. Now he could shake off the giant python behind him. Ding! Master has used Ling Qian steps. Ling Qian steps obtained experience, 199x. After using the Ling Qian steps again, Jai Yu could clearly feel that his speed was much faster than before. Jong Yuixin, whose cultivation wasn't weak, also faintly felt this. She turned her head to look at the giant python behind her and was shocked to find that Jai Yu was getting further and further away from it. Her delicate face immediately revealed a trace of disbelief, and her beautiful eyes shone with a strange light. The strength that Jai Yu displayed once again shocked her. She suddenly felt that this youth in front of her was as mysterious as a bottomless pit, and she would never be able to see through this youth. Hope was rekindled, but Jai Yu's profound kai was about to be overdrawn. With some difficulty, he said to Jong Yuixin, "I don't have enough profound kai in my body. I'll take out the profound returning pill from my storage ring, but I'll have to trouble you to feed it to me." As he spoke, he used his spiritual power to take out a profound returning pill from his storage ring and placed it in Jong Yuixin's hand. Jong Yuixin looked at the profound returning pill in her hand, and a strange idea suddenly appeared in her mind. She put the profound returning pill in her mouth, and a faint dark red color appeared on her delicate face. She slowly leaned towards Jai Yu's lips. Jai Yu, who was completely focused on escaping, didn't notice Jong Yuixin's appearance. Only when he felt a cool sensation on his lips did he realize that Jong Yuixin was actually holding the profound returning pill in her mouth and feeding it to him. In reality, Jong Yuixin and Jai Yu's lips didn't directly touch, but even so, Jai Yu was still shocked. Ding! Master has consumed an inferior grade 1 pill. The Xuan returning pill. Xuan Kai recovery effect has increased by 999 times. The moment Jai Yu ate the profound returning pill, the profound Kai in her body was instantly restored. It was also at this time that he heard the system notification that he came back to his senses. Now that he was in danger, he had no time to think about Zhang Yuxin. He forced himself to focus his attention in front of him. Seeing Jai Yu's shocked expression just now, Zhang Yuxin covered her mouth and snickered. But the blush on her face showed that she was actually even more shy. Even if they didn't touch directly, it was still an indirect kiss. She didn't know why she suddenly became so bold. Originally, she just wanted to tease this guy. Jai Yu continued to use the heaven-trampling steps. Occasionally, she would turn around to look, but she could no longer see the giant python's figure clearly. Just as he was about to heave a sigh of relief, he suddenly realized that there was no road ahead. He hurriedly stopped running. In front of him was a cliff. When he looked down, he couldn't see the bottom. Jai Yu's expression immediately became ugly. Just as he thought that he could survive, the heavens played a small joke on him. He couldn't turn around now, because behind him was that second-stage giant python. In front of him was a bottomless abyss, and behind him was a powerful demonic beast that he couldn't resist. There was no way to escape now. Jai Yu, how do we run now? Zhang Yuxin anxiously asked. She also didn't expect that there would be a cliff here. Jai Yu was silent for a moment. Then he put Zhang Yuxin down. Under Zhang Yuxin's bewildered gaze, he fearlessly rushed down the red-striped python. Since there was no way to escape, Jai Yu decided to fight this red-striped python to the death. He instantly flashed to the red-striped python's side and used the 7-strength fist to smash the red-striped python's head. With a pang sound, Jai Yu shockingly discovered that his full-strength fist didn't cause any obvious damage to the red-striped python's head. He only saw a small dent. The red-striped python's reaction was extremely fast. Its bucket-sized thick tail swept towards Jai Yu's waist at an extremely fast speed. Jai Yu's pupils suddenly contracted, but because the difference in strength was too great, he couldn't dodge in time and forcibly received the red-striped python's sweep. Pooh! Jai Yu immediately felt as if his waist was cut in half, and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His figure flew out and directly flew over the cliff. His consciousness gradually blurred. He could only hear the system beep in his mind, but he couldn't hear Zhang Yuxin's heart-wrenching screams. Ding! Master's body has suffered heavy injuries. Basic defensive mystic skill experience gained. 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Basic defensive mystic skill has successfully broken through to greater heights. Ding! It has been detected that basic defensive mystic skill experience is full, automatically upgraded to the yellow rank lower mystic skill thick earth armor. Chapter 31. Jai Yu. Zhang Yuxin screamed at the top of her lungs, but she didn't hear any response from Jai Yu. She didn't hesitate to hug Jai Yu, but the impact was too strong. She couldn't stabilize her body and fell down the cliff together with him. The moment he fell down the cliff, Jai Yu suddenly woke up. He felt that the injuries on his body had healed quite a bit, and his consciousness was gradually coming back. It seemed to be because of the system's voice just now. Right at this moment, Jai Yu suddenly realized that he was carrying Zhang Yuxin in his arms, and they were falling down the cliff at an extremely fast speed. He wanted to change the direction of his body's fall, so he tried his best to lean against the cliff and reduce the speed of his fall as much as possible. Ding! Protagonist has used thick earth armor. Thick earth armor gained experience. 2999 times. Jai Yu instantly used the low yellow rank defensive skill he just obtained, which could reduce the damage he received. Ding! Master's body has received damage. Thick earth armor gained experience. 1999 times. Ding! Master's body has received damage. Thick earth armor gained experience. 1999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor has successfully broken through to small success. With the help of the low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor, Jai Yu's back had been rubbing against the cliff, but he didn't receive too much damage. At most, it was just some superficial wounds. Right at this moment, he suddenly saw a huge rock protruding not far from him. He could land on it. Jai Yu immediately used his hand to press down on Zhang Yuxin's head and slightly curled up his body. Zhang Yuxin was stunned for a moment. Although Jai Yu's actions were a bit rough, that warm chest made her feel at ease. She could almost hear Jai-Yu's heartbeat, which made her heart beat faster. When he was about to fall onto that huge rock, Jai-Yu immediately used thick earth armor in an attempt to reduce his injuries. With a pang sound, Jai-Yu's back fell onto the rock. Other than a slight pain on his back, he didn't receive too much damage. But his waist that was heavily injured by the red patterned giant python was very painful, making it difficult for him to get up. The waist was the core of the human body, so every movement would affect the waist. Thus, Jai-Yu's back was lying on the rock without any movement to avoid unnecessary pain. Zhang Yuixin got up from Jai-Yu's embrace. Looking at Jai-Yu's pale face, she could not help but laugh as she cried, "You're really a hopeless bastard. Let me rest a bit first." Jai-Yu felt extremely exhausted. A wave of drowsiness hit her, and she gradually closed her eyes.
Wait. Zhang Yuixin immediately turned pale with fright and shook Jai-Yu's shoulder.
"You mustn't die." Zhang Yuixin's shaking and the constant system notifications in his mind woke Jai-Yu up. Right now, his body was still very weak, so Zhang Yuixin's shaking could cause slight damage to him. He immediately opened his eyes and bitterly smiled. "Stop shaking. I'm not dead yet. If you keep shaking me like this, I'll really die from you." Zhang Yuixin realized that she was in the wrong. She immediately apologized. "I'm sorry. I just need to rest a bit. I'm too tired right now." Jai-Yu guessed that Zhang Yuixin had misunderstood him, so he immediately explained. Too many things had happened before, and his waist was heavily injured. Right now, he was both mentally and physically exhausted. "Okay?" Zhang Yuixin nodded as she wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. Seeing that Zhang Yuixin's emotions had stabilized, Jai-Yu immediately closed his eyes and continued to rest. Zhang Yuixin looked at Jai-Yu's sleeping face, and her heart suddenly skipped a beat. Her face suddenly turned slightly red, and she slowly moved closer to Jai-Yu's face. She gently held Jai-Yu's head with her hands, placed her legs under the back of Jai-Yu's head, and then slowly placed the back of Jai-Yu's head on her thighs. Chapter 32. After an unknown amount of time, Jai-Yu gradually woke up from his sleep. The moment he regained consciousness, he suddenly felt a warm and soft sensation at the back of his head. It was as if he was lying on a comfortable pillow, but he didn't know why. But there was also a warm sensation. He slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a long and slender leg. At this moment, Jai-Yu couldn't help but be stunned. For a moment, he couldn't react to what had just happened. Then he turned his head and found that he was lying on Zhang Yuixin's lap. He slightly frowned and carefully thought about it. He didn't remember doing this before he fell asleep. Could it be that he climbed onto her lap after he fell asleep? The hell? Thinking of this, Jai-Yu couldn't remain calm. At the same time, Zhang Yuixin, who was originally dozing off, felt her leg itch. Then she found that Jai-Yu had woken up. "Jai-Yu, you're finally awake." Zhang Yuixin was overjoyed. Seeing Zhang Yuixin's expression, Jai-Yu's first reaction was to be very surprised. Logically speaking, Zhang Yuixin should be embarrassed and angry to see him lying on her lap, right? However, Jai-Yu didn't say anything and sat up with a calm expression. He could still feel the pain from his waist. It was probably an internal injury that was difficult to heal, but at least it was much better than before. Speaking of which, here, just as Jai-Yu was about to ask something, she suddenly saw a pitch-black cave behind her. He looked at the gray sky again and helplessly said, "It seems that we can only spend the night in this cave." Spend the night? Realizing that she and Jai-Yu were going to spend the night in a dark cave, Zhang Yuixin couldn't help but let her imagination run wild. He saw her face become redder and redder, and soon it became as red as an apple. However, perhaps Jai-Yu didn't notice it, or perhaps she didn't care at all. She continued to walk into the cave. "Let's explore the entire cave first, in case we get ambushed by demonic beasts while we sleep at night." Yes. Although Zhang Yuixin was very shy, she could only follow Jai-Yu inside. There was no light in the cave. The later Jai-Yu and Zhang Yuixin walked in, the darker the surroundings became. In the end, they couldn't see anything clearly. "Do you have anything on you that can give off light? It's too dark in here," Zhang Yuixin said timidly, grabbing Jai-Yu's sleeve with one hand. "What's wrong? You're already so old and you're still afraid of the dark?" Jai-Yu couldn't help but complain. "How is that possible? I'm just not used to it," Zhang Yuixin said stubbornly, but her slightly trembling legs betrayed her. Jai-Yu shrugged helplessly and said, "I don't have anything on me that gives off light. Just follow me carefully and don't spread out." Yes, Zhang Yuixin whispered. She didn't look anywhere. She just grabbed Jiayu's sleeve and followed Jiayu closely. Suddenly, a drop of water fell from above. Jiayu's consciousness was very sharp. He instantly noticed this drop of water. Although he knew that this drop of water was completely harmless, he still subconsciously tilted his head, completely avoiding this drop of water. Drip, in the next moment, only the sound of water falling to the ground could be heard. The sound should have been very soft, but in this silent cave, it was very loud. Coincidentally, this drop of water fell in front of Zhang Yuixin's feet. She thought that something was going to attack her and immediately screamed. Not only that, she also subconsciously hugged Jiayu tightly. It's just a drop of water. What are you afraid of? Jiayu said somewhat speechlessly. Chapter 33. At this time, Zhang Yuixin finally realized that it was indeed the sound of water droplets. At the same time, she also realized her posture and hurriedly separated herself from Jiayu's back. I don't feel any demonic aura nearby. Let's continue walking, Jiayu said and continued to walk forward. N. Zhang Yuixin grabbed her lapel with one hand and Jiayu's sleeve with the other. After walking for an unknown period of time, Jiayu suddenly felt a gust of wind blowing in front of him. His expression suddenly changed, and he quickened his pace in the direction of the gust of wind. Not only that, Jiayu also felt a surge of mystical aura in his palm. If something bad were to happen, he would be able to react immediately. Hey, wait for me! Suddenly realizing that Jiayu had quickened his pace, Zhang Yuixin was afraid that she would lose him, so she also quickened her pace. After walking for a while, Jiayu saw a ray of light not far in front of him. The scene in front of him gradually became brighter. He saw that there was an open stone door in front of him, and the light was shining out from the gap in the stone door. Jiayu pushed open the stone door with force, and his eyes suddenly opened up. What appeared in front of him was a huge space. It looked like an underground world of its own. It was about 60 to 70 feet high, and its length and width could not be estimated with the naked eye. In this underground world, there were flowers, grass, trees, rivers, some pavilions, and many stone paths, as well as a simple stone house. Hualala, he could hear the sound of water splashing in the river, and there were many fishes playing in the river. The surrounding trees were in picturesque disorder, and it was a scene full of vitality. There was also a pavilion outside the small stone house, and that pavilion had a stone table and stone chairs. There was also an old teapot and several teacups on the stone table. Jiayu looked at the strange scene in front of him, and his expression gradually became vigilant. He did not dare to act rashly. This place is so beautiful, Zhang Yuixin, who was following behind him, couldn't help but exclaim. Jiayu made a SHH gesture to Zhang Yuixin. Keep your voice down. It's very likely that someone lives here. The reason why he didn't go in rashly was because he was afraid that there might be some reclusive old monster living in seclusion here. If he rashly barged into someone else's residence, that person would definitely be disgusted. He first looked around, but didn't see anyone. Then he shouted, "Is there anyone here?" After a long time, there was still no response. "Is there anyone here?" Jiayu asked a few more times, but no one responded. He could only hear his own voice echoing in the cave. His eyes flickered slightly as he cautiously walked into this underground world. At the same time, he was mentally prepared. Seeing Jiayu walking in, Zhang Yuixin followed him carefully. Jiayu walked straight to that small stone house. If there was someone, that person would definitely be in that small stone house. He walked over and lightly knocked on the stone door. After a long time, no one responded, so he simply pushed open the stone door. After looking around, he found that there was no one in this small stone house. This small stone house was about the same size as the thatched cottage he lived in. Apart from some very simple tools, there seemed to be nothing else. Is there anything in there? At this time, Zhang Yuixin's small head suddenly poked in and asked softly. Nothing special. There should be no one in this underground world for a long time. Jiayu shook his head and said. Then, he looked up and saw a portrait hanging on the wall. There was a peerless beauty in the portrait. Her white hair fluttered in the wind, and her eyes flickered with a dark light. She was surrounded by a monstrous aura, like a peerless demoness. It was just a portrait, but Jiayu couldn't help but be stunned. Although the woman in the portrait was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen since he came to this world, even Yushian and Zhang Yuixin were slightly inferior to her. In fact, he was not stunned because he was obsessed with the woman in the portrait, but because of the notification from the system. Ding! Master has seen the portrait of the seventh demoness, triggering 999 times comprehension ability. Ding! Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the first volume of the king-level cultivation technique Sky Splitter. You can break the heavenly Tao and see the secrets. At this moment, a lot of knowledge about Sky Splitter appeared in Jayu's mind. He was stunned at first, then he was wild with joy. From what he knew, there were only 4 levels of cultivation techniques: yellow, black, earth, and heaven. Now, there was actually a king-level cultivation technique, and it sounded very awesome. This king-level cultivation technique must be above the heaven level. Just by looking at the portrait, he could comprehend a king-level cultivation technique that was higher than the heaven level. No one else could do this. At this time, Zhang Yuixin pouted and said, "A certain guy is almost drooling after looking at a portrait. How embarrassing." Chapter 34. Jiayu couldn't help but be speechless. He didn't know how to explain, so he simply didn't explain. After all, he couldn't say that he lost his composure because he obtained a king stage cultivation method. Anyway, there's no one in this underground world. Let's stay here temporarily until we think of a way to get out. Jiayu returned to the topic at hand. In fact, he had a way to get out, and that was to climb up the cliff at the entrance of the cave. However, his waist injury was serious, and he couldn't move much, let alone climb up the cliff with Zhang Yuixin on his back. "Then I'll go wash up first." Zhang Yuixin was no longer stubborn about Jiayu's obsession with the portrait. She walked out of the small stone house to find the river. After being tormented for half a day today, she was now covered in dust, which made her very uncomfortable. Jiayu continued to look at the portrait on the wall, trying to see if he could get any other good things. After a while, the system didn't send out any more notifications. It seemed that it was useless. That's true. One can't be too greedy. A king stage cultivation method is already abnormal enough. Jiayu shook his head and smiled. Next, he prepared to flip through the relevant knowledge in his mind to see how awesome this king stage cultivation method Sky Splitter was. He found the knowledge related to Sky Splitter in his mind and immediately read it. After a few minutes, Jiayu finally understood. This Sky Splitter was indeed a king stage cultivation method that was higher than the heaven stage. However, he only had the first volume. Simply speaking, it was a fragment. He didn't know how many more volumes there were. However, it was fortunate that this was the first volume. At least it could be used for cultivation. If it was the second or third volume, it would be equivalent to a piece of trash. A secret manual without a beginning and an end couldn't be cultivated at all. The so-called Sky Splitter was to break the heavenly Tao. Once he mastered the first level of Sky Splitter, he could break free from part of the heavenly Tao's shackles. The speed of mystical Kai absorption would directly double, and the quality of mystical Kai in the body would also improve. While Jiayu was reading the knowledge in his mind, the system's notifications kept ringing. Ding! Master has taken a look at the first volume of the King Stage Cultivation Method Sky Splitter and triggered 999 times comprehension ability. Ding! Congratulations, Master! You've successfully comprehended the first level of the King Stage Cultivation Technique, Heaven Splitter. Was that even possible? Jiayu was once again shocked by the awesomeness of the system. Even if it was a king-tier cultivation technique, he could instantly comprehend it with a single glance. Who else in this world could be more awesome than him? At this time, Jiayu was ready to try and see if her cultivation speed had really doubled. He sat cross-legged on the stone bed and entered a state of cultivation. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation X gained 299 times. Sure enough, when he heard the system notification, he knew that his cultivation speed had indeed increased. Intuitively speaking, it was the effect of his cultivation. Right now, I've only just learned it. Even if it's only the first tier, there should be higher realms after this. Let's see if my knowledge will improve. With that thought in mind, Jiayu continued to read the knowledge about sky splitting in her mind. Ding! Master has watched sky splitting. For 1 minute. Sky splitting X gained 999 times. Ding! Master has watched sky splitting for 1 minute. Sky splitting X gained 999 times. Sure enough, the first tier of sky splitting could still increase one's realm. Then, when he broke through to the minor success realm, the cultivation effect should still increase. Jiayu continued to read the knowledge, trying to break through to the minor success realm of the first tier of sky splitting. But after a long time, the realm of sky splitting did not move at all. However, this was considered normal. After all, it was a king stage cultivation technique. It was indeed not so easy to break through the realm. Since the efficiency of watching was too slow, Jiayu planned to try circulating the cultivation technique to see if the efficiency would be faster. Chapter 35. Ding! Master has activated Sky Splitter. Sky Splitter gained experience. 10,999x. It was obvious that the efficiency of activating the technique was 10,000 times better than just looking at it. Jiayu finally understood that if he wanted to increase the level of this king-level technique, the most efficient way was to activate the technique. However, activating the king-level technique consumed too much Xuan Kai. After only 2 activations, all the Xuan Kai in his body was depleted. He could only take out a Xuan Kai pill from his storage ring and consume it. Ding! Master has consumed an inferior level 1 pill Xuan Kai pill. Xuan Kai recovery effect increased by 999 times. After consuming the Xuan Kai pill, Jiayu's Xuan Kai was instantly restored. He immediately continued to activate the Sky Splitter. After activating the Sky Splitter twice, Jiayu's Xuan Kai was once again depleted. Now, he only had 1 Xuan Kai pill left in his storage ring, which meant that he could only activate the Sky Splitter twice. He felt that he couldn't break through the first layer of the Sky Splitter to the initial success stage so quickly, so he temporarily gave up. After consuming the last Xuan Kai pill, the Xuan Kai in his body was once again restored. However, this time, Jiayu didn't continue to activate the Sky Splitter. He planned to refine more Xuan Kai recovery pills after leaving this place, and then slowly cultivate this king-level technique. At the same time, Zhang Yuixin had just finished washing the stains on her body and returned. Jiayu, I'm hungry. Do you have any food on you? Zhang Yuixin asked as soon as she walked into the small stone hut. How could I carry food with me? Jiayu shook his head and said. Then what should we do? I don't have any food in my storage ring, and now we can't leave. Are we going to starve to death here? Zhang Yuixin said with a melancholy expression. Of course not. Aren't there fish in the river outside? Those fish can be used as food. Jiayu pointed at the river not far from the small stone hut and said, Fish? So you can roast fish? Zhang Yuixin asked in surprise. She did not expect Jiayu to be so capable. I'm sorry, but I don't know how to roast fish. I can only say that I'll try my best. Jiayu shrugged. You don't know how to roast fish. Zhang Yuixin was speechless. She was surprised that this guy had some skills, but it turned out that she was overthinking things. At this time, Jiayu also felt a little hungry. She immediately said, Let's go. I'll catch some fish and roast it. We have to try it first. All right. Zhang Yuixin followed behind Jiayu. In fact, she didn't have much hope for the grilled fish. Jiayu walked to the riverside and looked at the fish swimming in the river. She quickly reached out and caught them. Ding! Master caught a fish. Basic claw skill experience gained. 19099 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic claw technique has successfully broken through to the greater perfection stage. Ding! Detected that your basic claw technique experience is full. Automatically upgraded to the low yellow rank Swift Shadow Claw. Jiayu did not expect that even catching a fish would give him a claw skill. But since he obtained a low yellow rank claw skill, he naturally had to make good use of it. Ding! Master used Swift Shadow Claw. Swift Shadow Claw experience gained 2999 times. Jiayu tried to use the low yellow rank Swift Shadow Claw and very quickly caught another fish. Using a mystical skill to catch fish, only Jiayu would be so extravagant. Reality proved that this claw skill was indeed good for catching fish. It was fast and accurate, and he did not lack that bit of mystical kai. Jiayu continued to use the Swift Shadow Claw and used it to catch fish. Ding! Congratulations, Master! The low yellow rank mystical skill Swift Shadow Claw has successfully broken through to the small success stage. Using the claw skill and movement technique, in just a few seconds, Jiayu had already caught more than 10 fish and threw them onto the riverside. Even though Zhang Yuixin knew that Jiayu's true strength was very mysterious, she was still shocked by this scene. Jiayu said, All right, that's more or less enough. I'll go and try to grill the fish. Chapter 36. Jaiyu returned to the shore and used his hands to chop some branches. He only chopped off some of the branches and did not hurt the trunk of the trees. This way, the trees could continue to grow. Relying on the strength of a peak 9th level body tempering cultivator, he casually chopped off a branch. Ding! Master has chopped with a palm. Basic palm technique obtained experience. 1,999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Basic palm technique has successfully broken through to the greater mastery stage. Ding! Detected that basic palm technique experience is full. Automatically upgraded to wine-shattering palm. Low-grade yellow rank profound skill. It was like this again, but Jaiyu was already used to it. To be able to obtain a low-grade yellow rank palm technique by chopping off a branch, to this system, it was no longer a miraculous thing. After that, Jaiyu simply used this low-grade yellow rank palm technique to chop off the branches. As usual, it was faster and more convenient. After chopping off many branches in a short while, Jaiyu's wind-shattering palm also broke through to the lesser mastery stage. Jaiyu immediately placed the branches beside the dozen or so fish by the river and started a fire. While the fire was burning, he used a small knife to first thin the remaining branches, then cleaned the fish's scales and directly cut open the fish's intestines. This kind of fish in the river must be cleaned, otherwise, when roasted and smoked, there would be a mixed smell. At this time, Jaiyu suddenly thought of something and said with a slightly regretful expression, "Speaking of which, we don't have any seasonings. The roasted fish later will be tasteless and will be a bit unpalatable." Well, whatever. I feel that it's already not bad if you don't roast the fish later. Obviously, Jung Yuixin did not believe in Jaiyu's skills. Jaiyu was immediately dissatisfied. Although it's my first time trying, it's not as bad as you say. Watch carefully later. Then this young lady will watch carefully. If you can't roast the fish well, you will be this young lady's servant for a day and obey me no matter what. How about it? Jung Yuixin smiled proudly. Sure, but if I don't spoil the fish, you'll be my maid for a day. No matter what, you have to obey me. Do you dare? Jaiyu said with a mocking expression. Hearing this, Jung Yuixin was stunned. Then, she thought of something that was not suitable for children. She didn't feel anything when she said it. But when it came from someone else, especially a man, she felt that something was wrong. However, her dignity as the second miss of the City Lord Manor did not allow her to lower her head in front of Jaiyu. Jung Yuixin blushed as if she was ready to throw caution to the wind. What is there that I don't dare to do? It's settled then. You said it yourself. Jaiyu skewered each fish from head to tail with a wooden skewer. 2 branches were placed on each side of the firewood pile, and then the roasted fish could be fixed at the intersection. Although Jaiyu had never grilled fish before, she still knew how to grill it. During the grilling process, she kept rolling the fish to prevent it from burning. Under the burning of the fire, the skin of the fish quickly turned a charred yellow. Gradually, she could smell the fragrance of the fish. At this moment, Jung Yuixin had a bad feeling. It seemed that Jaiyu was almost done grilling the fish. In other words, she had to. During the grilling process, Jaiyu did not add any more firewood. Gradually, charcoal appeared. Next was the smoking of the fish. The smell of the smoke of the charcoal gradually seeped into the fish that was almost done grilling. Finally, when the fish oil dripped down, the grilled fish was done. It's done. Try it first. Jaiyu handed the grilled fish to Jung Yuixin. Then, she went to grill another fish. Jung Yuixin silently took the grilled fish from Jaiyu. She could not help but let her imagination run wild as she looked at the bright yellow grilled fish that was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. This grilled fish was undoubtedly a success. After that, she would have to obey this guy's request, no matter what it was. When the time came, if it was something embarrassing, she wouldn't be able to resist. Jung Yuixin immediately blushed. She stole a glance at Jaiyu and found that Jaiyu was almost done grilling the second fish. Chapter 37. Not long after, the second fish was done roasting. This one was Jaiyu's, so he immediately tasted it. Ding! Master has eaten a piece of fish meat that contains mystic energy. Martial Dao experience gained, 2999 times. A notification came from the system as soon as he took the first bite. Jaiyu couldn't help but be slightly stunned. This fish meat contained mystic energy. Although he didn't know why, this was a very big surprise to him. The cultivation experience gained from eating a piece of fish meat was equivalent to him cultivating for 10 minutes. Eating an entire fish was equivalent to him eating dozens of gradeless pills. Moreover, there were still many fish that hadn't been roasted yet. Jong Yuixin. At this moment, Jai Yu called out. Jong Yuixin was still thinking about those embarrassing things when Jai Yu suddenly called out her name. She immediately panicked. Speaking of which, do you feel anything different in this fish meat? Jai Yu asked. What's the difference? After hearing Jai Yu's words, Jong Yuixin realized that this fish meat was indeed a little strange. After tasting it carefully, her eyes widened. There seems to be mystic energy in this fish meat. That's right. That's why you can absorb the mystic energy while eating. Don't waste it. The reason why Jai Yu said this was to remind Jong Yuixin. After all, Jong Yuixin couldn't directly obtain 99 times cultivation experience from the system like him. Even if she ate the fish meat, she had to absorb it well to use the mystic energy in it. After that, Jai Yu continued to eat the fish meat. Although there was no seasoning to add, Jai Yu still felt that the fish was roasted quite well. The fish itself wasn't big, so he quickly finished the entire fish. He could feel that his cultivation had increased a lot compared to before, but he still couldn't break through to the peak of the 9th level of the body tempering realm so quickly. Jai Yu wasn't in a hurry and continued to roast the fish unhurriedly. In the end, Jai Yu ate 3 roasted fish, while Jong Yuixin ate 2. All right, now that we're full, it's time to get down to business. Jai Yu stood up and looked at Jong Yuixin with a smile. Serious business? Jong Yuixin suddenly panicked. She lowered her head and pinched Nini with both hands. You said earlier that if I didn't spoil the fish, you would be my maid for a day. Seeing that Jong Yuixin was silent, Jai Yu thought that Jong Yuixin was going to break the contract. I will do it. Bring it on. Jong Yuixin took a deep breath. She was going for broke. She shyly used her hands to slowly unbutton her clothes. Is it hot here? Why don't you take a breather here first and clean up the small stone house later? Seeing this, Jai Yu asked in confusion. Jong Yuixin was stunned. Her hands that were unbuttoning her clothes also stopped in midair. What's wrong? Jai Yu asked. That's all? Jong Yuixin said in a daze. Yes, that's all. If you think it's not enough, you can also clean up the area around the small stone house. Jai Yu said. Then I'll go back and cultivate first. Then Jai Yu walked back to the small stone house, leaving Jong Yuixin sitting there in a daze. Her face became redder and redder. She wanted to dig a hole and bury herself in it. In the end, it was all her wishful thinking. After returning to the small stone house, Jai Yu immediately sat on the bed and began to cultivate Shuan Kai. Because he had comprehended the first layer of the king-level cultivation method Sky Splitter, he could get double the effect of cultivating Shuan Kai. Naturally, he had to cultivate more. Chapter 38. At night, Jong Yuixin followed Jai Yu's instructions and cleaned the small stone house inside and out. After she was done, Jong Yuixin sat on a stone chair in the house and looked at Jai Yu, who was sitting on the bed with his eyes closed. She couldn't help but fall into deep thought. This youth was the most peculiar man she had ever seen in her life. At this moment, she recalled the matter of her undressing and couldn't help but want to ridicule this guy if there was something wrong with him. She had already gone to that extent. She wasn't sure if this guy really didn't understand or if he did it on purpose. Could it be that she wasn't attractive enough to this guy? This was the first time Jong Yuixin was not confident in her appearance. She had never been like this in the past, so she didn't know what was wrong with her today. At the same time, Jai Yu was still cultivating his profound Kai. Ding! Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained. 299 times. Ding! Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained. 299 times. At this moment, Jai Yu could feel that he had already filled half of the huge pit of the peak 9th level of the body tempering stage. Just half more, and he would be able to break through to the perfection stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. However, in the next moment, he stopped cultivating because it was already late and it was time to sleep. Just as he opened his eyes, he saw Jong Yuixin staring at him with an indescribable expression. He was puzzled for a while and couldn't help but point at his face and ask curiously, Is there something dirty on my face? Jai Yu's sudden voice gave Jong Yuixin a fright, but she quickly calmed down. There's nothing. Jai Yu still had a puzzled expression, but he didn't continue to ask. I'm about to go to sleep. You see if you want to sleep on the inside or outside. Jai Yu immediately started talking about serious matters. I'll sleep on the inside, you sleep on the outside. Jong Yuixin said indifferently. This time, however, her heart was as calm as still water because she could clearly see that this guy was a blockhead and definitely wouldn't do anything to her. Thinking of this, she felt an inexplicable sense of sorrow. Then I'll go to sleep first. Make yourself at home. After that, Jai Yu lay down on the side of the bed and fell asleep. After that, Zhang Yuixin also climbed onto the inner side of the stone bed and lay down. The moment she laid down, she had an indescribable feeling. This was her first time lying on the same bed with a man. Even if the other party was a blockhead, she still felt a little shy. She couldn't calm down, so she didn't sleep well the entire night. The next morning, Jai Yu was woken up by her biological clock. Seeing that Zhang Yuixin hadn't woken up yet, Jai Yu didn't intend to wake her up. She quietly walked out of the small stone house. At this moment, Jai Yu subconsciously stretched. The moment he stretched out his hand, he suddenly remembered that his waist was still injured. Stretching like this would definitely hurt him to death. Just as Jai Yu was about to withdraw his hand, he realized that the pain in his waist wasn't as intense as it was yesterday. He tried to stretch his waist and felt that it was only slightly painful. What's going on? How did the injury heal so quickly? Jai Yu immediately felt that it was a bit strange. He clearly didn't do anything, but the injury on his waist had already healed a lot. Wait a minute. If I have to say something, it's that I ate those roasted fish yesterday. At this moment, Jai Yu suddenly thought of those roasted fish yesterday. Although it was a bit inconceivable, he didn't come into contact with anything else other than those roasted fish. If those roasted fish really had the effect of healing injuries, then he would be able to leave this underground world very soon. Why don't I try roasting a few more fish? Jai Yu thought to himself and immediately began to act. In order to avoid wasting, Jai Yu only caught 4 fish this time. Then, as usual, he chopped a lot of branches with his bare hands. While chopping the branches, Jai Yu strangely discovered that the branches that he chopped off yesterday had all grown back. The self-recovery ability of these trees is actually that strong? Jai Yu couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. At this moment, he suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Could it be that the injury on his waist healed so quickly because he ate the roasted fish made from these branches? He felt that it was most likely the case. The self-recovery ability of these branches was so strong that it couldn't be unrelated. Chapter 39. Then, just like yesterday, he placed most of the branches on the fire. Then, he crossed 2 branches on each side of the fire and used a small knife to cut the remaining branches into wooden skewers. He cut open the fish and washed it 2 or 3 times. Then, he skewered the fish and began to roast them one by one. He ate 1 fish after roasting it. He didn't want to eat too much early in the morning, so he only ate 2 roasted fish. After eating 2 whole roasted fish, Jai Yu began to roast the 3rd fish for Zhang Yuixin. Just as he was about to wake Zhang Yuixin up after roasting this fish, Zhang Yuixin's voice sounded. Jai Yu, are you roasting fish? Zhang Yuixin rubbed her eyes and walked out of the small stone house sleepily. She was like a confused kitten that was attracted by the smell of roasted fish. You're awake. This fish will be done soon, Jai Yu said as he rolled the fish. Zhang Yuixin went to the river to wash up and then sat down by the fire. She looked at Jai Yu roasting fish for her and felt warm in her heart. At this moment, Jai Yu spoke again. Speaking of which, I realized that the branches here have very strong self-healing abilities. After eating the fish roasted with the branches, the injury on my waist healed quite a bit overnight. Hearing this, Zhang Yuixin opened her mouth slightly, but she did not say anything. Jai Yu continued, if nothing unexpected happens, we can leave this place by tomorrow at the latest. At this time, Zhang Yuixin couldn't hold it in anymore. She said with a struggling expression, do we have to leave this place? She lowered her head slightly, and there was a trace of sadness in her expression. Seeing this, Jai Yu was a little concerned. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Zhang Yuixin was silent for a moment. Then, she sighed in her heart and said to Jai Yu with a smile, when you're better, we'll leave this place. In Jai Yu's eyes, this smile was very forced. This made him even more concerned. Zhang Yuixin obviously had some difficulties, but he couldn't figure it out. It was obvious that Zhang Yuixin didn't want to reveal it, so he didn't plan to ask. The fish is ready. Hurry up and eat. Jai Yu changed the topic. and the heavy atmosphere immediately lightened up.
Hmm.
Jong Yuixin took the skewer of grilled fish and began to eat. Her mood gradually improved. After dealing with the roasted fish, Jiayu continued to cultivate her profound kai. After half a day had passed, Jiayu still felt that she was too far away from breaking through to the perfection stage of the 9th level of the body tempering stage. The speed of cultivating Shuan Kai is really too slow. It's better to wait until we get out of here and take some pills to break through. Jiayu murmured. It was almost noon now. He left his cultivation state and continued to roast fish outside to recover as soon as possible. After filling his stomach, he returned to his room to cultivate. However, he temporarily gave up on cultivating Shuan Kai. Instead, he began to read the knowledge of the king rank cultivation method Sky Splitter in his mind. Occasionally, he would circulate the Sky Splitter. Because circulating the cultivation method once would consume more than half of his Shuan Kai, he would change to reading the knowledge after circulating the cultivation method once. When the Shuan Kai in his body had recovered, he would continue to circulate the cultivation method. This repeated cycle was the most efficient. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The first layer of the King rank cultivation method, Sky Splitter, has successfully broken through to the initial success stage. Another half a day passed. Jiayu finally broke through to the initial success stage of the first layer of the Sky Splitter. Logically speaking, as one broke through to the next level, the effect of cultivation would also improve. Jiayu immediately prepared to start cultivating Shuan Kai to see how much the effect of cultivation had improved. Chapter 40. Ding! Master cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience. 4999 times. It could be heard that the effect of the cultivation had doubled again. Compared to the beginning, it had quadrupled. Jiayu was quite satisfied with this kind of cultivation effect. At night, he ate roasted fish with Zhang Yuixin. Then, he continued to cultivate Shuan Kai and finally fell asleep. It was a new day. The first thing Jiayu did when he woke up was to check the injury on his waist. He found that it had recovered a lot compared to yesterday. Basically, this injury was nothing more than a minor injury to him, which meant that he could get out of this place. After Zhang Yuixin woke up, Jiayu roasted fish for the last time. After eating the roasted fish, Jiayu hesitated for a moment. Then, he said to Zhang Yuixin, "My injury is almost healed. We can go out now. Okay?" This time, Zhang Yuixin did not show the same expression as yesterday. She nodded calmly. Jiayu took a deep look at Zhang Yuixin. Then, he got up and walked toward the exit of the underground world, which was also the entrance. Zhang Yuixin followed behind Jiayu without saying a word. There was no emotion on her face. At the same time, no one knew what she was thinking. At this time, Jiayu was walking in the dark cave. Zhang Yuixin followed him while holding the corner of his clothes like last time. After a long time, they arrived at the entrance of the cave. Looking at this familiar place, Jiayu couldn't help but feel a little emotional. Fortunately, he fell here. Otherwise, he would definitely die if he fell to the bottom of the cliff. Jiayu looked up and found that it was quite difficult to climb up from here. It was very far away. He stretched his muscles and said to Zhang Yuixin, "Come, get on my back. I'll climb up later." Zhang Yuixin was stunned. After a while, she reacted and said in surprise, "You want to climb up directly from here? What else can I do? I don't have any other choice. Let's go." Jiayu said helplessly. "Okay." Zhang Yuixin walked over and lay on Jiayu's back. Then, she wrapped her arms around Jiayu's neck. "Hold on tight. Don't fall down later." Jiayu reminded him. Then, like a gecko, he began to climb the cliff. However, this speed was too slow. He wanted to use his movement skill to see if it could increase his speed. After using the heaven ascending steps, Jiayu's climbing speed on the cliff became much faster. At the same time, Zhang Yuixin's hands wrapped tightly around Jiayu's neck. Seeing that this was effective, Jiayu continued to use his movement skill to climb up. Using his movement skill, Jiayu soon reached the top. Then, he put Zhang Yuixin down. "I'm finally here." Jiayu exhaled and wiped the non-existent sweat on his forehead. "What do you plan to do next?" Zhang Yuixin suddenly asked. "Of course I'm going home. You've already picked that purple sun grass." Jiayu said matter-of-factly. "That's not what I meant." Zhang Yuixin hesitated for a while. Then, she said, "Why don't you stay at the city lord's mansion for a while? That way, you'll be safer." That won't be necessary. Jai Yu shook his head slightly. He could tell that Zhang Yuixin was doing this for his own good. She wanted him to stay at the city lord's mansion temporarily, so that he wouldn't be threatened by the Chen family and the Lin family. However, he had his own ideas. It wasn't that he didn't trust Zhang Yuixin. It was just that he didn't know the exact situation at the city lord's mansion. Forget it. Do whatever you want. I won't care about you anymore. Zhang Yuixin looked a little angry. She was being nice to this guy, but he was unwilling. Although she didn't know how this guy offended the Chen family, it wasn't just the Chen family. Even the Lin family didn't seem to have a good relationship with this guy. If he offended two big families in Kaoyang Ancient City at the same time, normal people wouldn't be able to survive in Kaoyang Ancient City. Moreover, this guy was a lone warrior. If this guy was willing to stay at the city lord's mansion temporarily, then she wouldn't have to worry about the Chen family and the Lin family. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go first. Jiayu said, Why don't I leave first? You can go back by yourself. After saying that, he strode forward in large strides. You bastard! Don't walk so fast. Zhang Yuixin immediately chased after him. They were close to the inner area. They might encounter more second-rank beasts like before. If she went back by herself, it would be very dangerous. Hearing Zhang Yuixin's tone, Jiayu felt a little relieved. Chapter 41. Along the way, the two of them encountered many demonic beasts. Fortunately, they didn't encounter any second-rank demonic beasts, which were easily dealt with by Jiayu. Not only that, his movement technique, heaven-trampling steps, had broken through to the impeccable realm, and his fist technique, stone-breaking fist, had broken through to the mastery realm. All the demonic beasts that he killed were cut off the more valuable materials. Now, his storage ring was almost filled with demonic beast materials. After a long time, Jiayu and Zhang Yuning arrived at the entrance of Kaoyang Ancient City. Are you sure you don't want to go to the city lord mansion with me? Zhang Yuixin was a little worried about Jiayu, so she asked again. I'm sure. At this time, Jiayu had already put on a black robe to cover his face. Zhang Yuixin sighed slightly. All right then, but if there's any danger, you must come to me. I know. Jiayu nodded slightly. After that, he parted ways with Zhang Yuixin. Zhang Yuixin returned to the city lord mansion, while he left for the Kaoyang branch. Not long after, Jiayu walked to the Kaoyang branch. He didn't show his face, only showing his alchemist badge, and someone immediately came to receive him. Sir, what do you need? The person who came to receive him was a woman he had never seen before. I want to sell some demonic beast materials. Jiayu said lightly. Please follow me, sir. The receptionist then led Jiayu to the trading area. Soon, Jiayu arrived at the trading area. He threw out all the demonic beast materials in his storage ring, which shocked everyone present. How many demonic beasts did this person kill? He's definitely an expert. I even saw the materials of a first-rank, ninth-rank demonic beast. Maybe he's a defensive mystic realm expert. This is too cruel. All the demonic beasts I've killed in the past year don't add up to the amount he has. The attention of the surrounding people who were trading was attracted as they exclaimed, How much are these worth in total? Even the people in charge of the transaction were stunned. Only when Jiayu spoke did they come back to their senses. Please wait a moment, sir. We have to settle the accounts. Jiayu quietly waited at the side. After a long time, that person opened his mouth and said, Mister, the total value of these materials is 3,800 gold coins. Jiayu nodded slightly and said, Then transfer it into this white card for me. As he spoke, he took out a white card from his storage ring. This was the white card that Zhang Yuixin gave him last time. It was something called a business card, which was equivalent to a virtual gold coin transaction. Yes, sir. Seeing that the black-robed man in front of him actually had a white business card, that person's attitude suddenly became more respectful. After a while, Jiayu's white merchant card had an extra 3,800 gold coins. In addition to Zhang Yuixin's debt, there was now a total of 5,800 gold coins in it. These gold coins were enough for him to buy a lot of materials to refine elixirs. Then I'll have to trouble you to help me choose some alchemy materials, especially materials specially used to refine second-grade elixirs. The total value should not exceed 5,800 gold coins. Jiayu said. That person was immediately overjoyed and hurriedly went to choose the materials. During this time, the surrounding people constantly exclaimed, 800 gold coins in one go. How generous! However, Jayu did not care about the surrounding exclamations at all. After a while, that person came back with a large pile of materials. Mister, these are the materials needed to refine second-grade elixirs. The total value is 500 gold coins. Please take a look. Hearing that person's words, Jayu casually glanced at it a few times, then took out a token and showed it to that person. Superior Grade 1 Alchemist Badge. Then I'll give Mr. 525 gold coins. That person immediately said. As long as one was a first-grade alchemist, they would be able to get a 95% discount on anything they bought at the Kaoyang branch. Therefore, that person immediately changed the price. After deducting 525 gold coins, Jayu's white card now had 575 gold coins left. After putting away the materials for the second-grade pills into his storage ring, Lin Fan left the Kaoyang branch and returned to the Lin mansion. Just as Jayu walked to the entrance of the Lin family's mansion, he suddenly realized that the security of the Lin mansion was much tighter than usual. There were twice as many guards at the entrance as usual. Hey, you over there, take off your black robes. Just as he was about to enter the Lin mansion, the leading guard suddenly called out to him. Then, the other guards surrounded him, making it impossible for him to enter or leave. The leader of the guards gave a look to one of his companions, who quickly walked into the Lin mansion. Then, the leader of the guards coldly said to Jayu, Young master has ordered that anyone who wants to enter the Lin mansion is not allowed to cover their face with a black robe. Otherwise, they will be arrested. Oh, Jayu was a bit surprised. He didn't think that Lin Kishin would want to make a move on him so soon. After all, he was the only one who would wear a black robe in the Lin mansion. Moreover, these people did not even ask about the situation before directly surrounding him. There was no other reason other than to target him. Why are you still talking so much? You just want to make a move on me, so just come at me. Chapter 42. So it's you. Capture this brat. Seeing Jayu's true identity, the leader of the guards immediately scolded him. At his command, the rest of the guards surrounded Jayu with unfriendly looks on their faces. You can all try. Jayu smiled faintly, without the slightest trace of panic on his face. One of the guards seemed to want to steal the credit, and charged towards Jayu. Ding! Master has used Stone-Breaking Fist. Stone-Breaking Fist obtained experience, 199x. With one punch, the guard was sent flying, knocking into a few of his companions along the way. Jayu's punch had shocked all the guards present. Their faces were filled with disbelief as they stood rooted to the ground. The leader of the guards was also dumbfounded. His subordinates were all elite guards specially nurtured by the family, and their cultivations were at least at the 7th level of the body tempering stage. How could they not even withstand a single punch from this brat? Why aren't you moving? Jayu sneered. Since it's like this, then it's my turn. Even if these guards did not dare to attack him now, he would not let them go. If they don't offend me, I won't offend them. If they offend me, I'll definitely offend them. If they offend Jayu, then don't think they'll have a good time. Jayu's figure flashed and appeared in front of the leader of the guards in an instant. The leader of the guards was a 9th level body tempering stage martial artist, and although his opponent's speed was so fast that he could not see clearly, he was still able to react in time. His eyes flashed with a trace of viciousness as he slashed his sword towards Jayu. The leader of the guards thought that his sword was fast and ruthless, but in the eyes of Bai Juchen, it was like a child playing with a sword, not worth mentioning. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he clenched his right hand into a fist and smashed it towards the sword. Kacha! A crisp sound rang out as the leader of the guard's sword was shattered by Jayu's stone-breaking fist. The guard captain looked at the broken sword in his hand. He was dumbfounded. His mind went blank. He even forgot who he was for a moment. When the surrounding guards saw this scene, their faces were filled with disbelief. They were so shocked that their jaws almost fell to the ground. They couldn't believe their eyes. One had to know that the sword in their captain's hand was a grade 1 treasure. Yet it was shattered by a single punch from this young man. Without giving him any chance to catch his breath, Jayu punched him in the face again. The guard captain couldn't react in time and took Jayu's punch head-on. Before he lost consciousness, he seemed to have heard the sound of his facial bones shattering. The captain of the guards rolled sideways and smashed into the wall of the Lin family's residence, creating a dent in the wall, One could see that his face had caved in and was covered in blood. He was almost disfigured. The surrounding guards who witnessed all of this felt as if their legs were filled with lead. They were frozen in place, unable to move because they were completely dumbfounded. The few who still had some consciousness didn't dare to go up and help, nor did they dare to run away. In their eyes, Jaiyu was like a fierce beast in human form. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call him abnormal. Even the strongest captain had been beaten to a pulp by a single punch. If they went up, they would just be sending themselves to their deaths. Jaiyu indifferently looked at the disfigured captain of the guards. Suddenly, his eyes turned and his cold gaze fell on those guards. Those guards suddenly trembled and didn't dare to breathe loudly. There were even some guards who couldn't hold on any longer and crazily ran in all directions. Seeing that some of their companions had already run away, the rest of the guards also began to run. Even though their captain had been killed, they only had one thought in their minds. That was to run. If they didn't run, they would die. You still want to run now? Jaiyu coldly snorted. His figure blurred and disappeared. In almost an instant, he had caught up to the guard who had run the furthest. With one punch, there was nowhere to run. After dealing with one, Jaiyu immediately chased after the next one. After dealing with the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The yellow high-grade profound skill stone breaking fist has successfully broken through to the perfection realm. After killing over 10 guards in one breath, Jaiyu had finally dealt with the last one. Even his profound fist skill stone breaking fist had unknowingly broken through to the perfection realm. You also go and die for me, Jaiyu coldly said as he gripped the last guard's neck with one hand. This guard's face was green and purple from being choked. His eyes were filled with fear. He kept ripping at Jaiyu's hand, but he couldn't move it at all. He was almost unable to breathe as he weakly begged, Don't kill me, I am innocent." Jaiyu smiled. His smile was very helpless. "Before you caught me, did you ever think that I was innocent?" From the beginning, he had never done anything that offended the heavens. But because he coincidentally obtained a spirit pill, his family was ruined and he was even chased to the point of being exterminated. In the next moment, his smile suddenly stopped because he heard Lin Kishin's voice. "Stop for me." He saw Lin Kishin appear at the entrance of the Lin Manor. The guard who came with him was so scared that he fell to the ground. Jaiyu coldly glanced at Lin Kishin. His right hand squeezed and broke the guard's neck. Chapter 43. Jaiyu, you've got guts. You dare to act wildly in my Lin mansion. Lin Kishin looked at the miserable situation in front of him and angrily rebuked. At the same time, his eyes were filled with disbelief. Wasn't this brat a trash at the third level of the body tempering realm? Why was his strength so terrifying? Even the guard captain was nowhere to be seen. It seemed that he was also dead. From where Lin Kishin was standing, he couldn't see the guard captain lying in the hole in the wall. Jaiyu casually threw away the guard's corpse and coldly looked at Lin Kishin. "You're going to die too." Jaiyu appeared in front of Lin Kishin in a flash. She clenched her right fist and used the stone-shattering fist to smash at Lin Kishin. "What?" Lin Kishin was shocked. He didn't see Jaiyu's movements clearly. Before he could even react, Jaiyu had already appeared in front of him. Lin Kishin, who was at the 9th level of the body tempering realm, subconsciously crossed his arms to protect his head. Bang! Lin Kishin suddenly felt an intense pain in his arms. Only then did he realize that the bones in his arms were about to shatter. He was at the 9th level of the body tempering realm and was only one step away from the defensive profound realm. In the entire Kaoyang city, there weren't many below the defensive profound realm who could be his opponent. The brat in front of him was clearly above the defensive profound realm. He wasn't someone he could fight against. He was scared. His eyes were filled with fear. At this moment, he truly realized what kind of monster he had provoked. "Oh," Jaiyu's cold voice sounded. "Not bad. You actually took the first punch. Can you take the second punch?" Hearing this voice, Lin Kishin's body suddenly trembled, especially when he heard that the opponent was going to give him a second punch. He couldn't take the first punch. Wouldn't the second punch take his life? No. Lin Kishin felt that he had to get away from this monster. He fiercely clenched his teeth and endured the pain in his arms. He used all his strength to use his movement skill to escape into the mansion. Seeing this, Jaiyu sneered. "Do you think you can escape?" Before he finished speaking, He had already caught up with Lin Kishin at a speed far exceeding his own. Lin Kishin heard Jiayu's voice and was about to turn around to see if Jiayu was chasing after him when Jiayu suddenly appeared behind him. He was so frightened that he stumbled and fell to the ground. Sitting on the ground, he retreated in a sorry state. "You, don't come any closer." Lin Kishin looked at Jiayu in shock and fear as he cried out. Jiayu didn't stop at all. She walked over and grabbed Lin Kishin's head. She twisted Lin Kishin's head with one hand, and Lin Kishin was lifted into the air. Ding! Master used Swift Shadow Claw. Swift Shadow Claw experience gained, 2999x. Jiayu had a lot of strength in her hand. Lin Kishin felt as if his head was about to explode. The pain was unbearable. He frantically tried to grab Jiayu's hand that was twisting his head, trying in vain to break free from Jiayu's iron grip. However, he could only leave a small scratch on the back of Jiayu's hand. Ding! Master's body has been injured. Low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor experience gained, 19099x. Ding! Master's body has been injured. Low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor experience gained, 19099x. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Low yellow rank profound skill thick earth armor has successfully broken through to Mastery Realm. Although Lin Kishin's scratches allowed Jiayu's defensive profound skill thick earth armor to break through, in reality, these scratches were like tickles to Jiayu. There was almost no pain at all. He gradually increased the strength in his hand, causing Lin Kishin to feel an unbearable pain. Ah! Lin Kishin continuously screamed in agony. There were many Lin clan disciples and servants who saw this scene, but no one dared to take half a step closer. They all watched from afar, and only a very small number of people secretly ran to report this to the higher-ups. Tell me the truth, did you want to attack me yourself, or did you listen to someone else's instructions? At this time, Jiayu suddenly spoke. It's Chen Yan's instructions. Ah, please let me go. Lin Kishin was in so much pain that his facial features were twisted together, looking very ugly. Good, then you can die now. Jiayu let go of Lin Kishin, but at this moment, he immediately followed up with a punch towards Lin Kishin's chest. The reason why he didn't directly kill Lin Kishin and instead tortured him was because he wanted to torture Lin Kishin's mind until he broke down. That way, Lin Kishin would confess the truth. This Lin Kishin did listen to Chen Yan's instructions as expected. It must have been when he was trapped in the underground world with Zhang Yuixin. Lin Kishin and Chen Yan, these two dogs, colluded together. Chen Yan deserved to die. Lin Kishin also deserved to die. Chapter 44. A stone-shattering fist smashed into Lin Kishin's chest, and the sound of his ribs breaking rang out as Lin Kishin was sent tumbling backwards. But at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared and shielded Lin Kishin. The owner of this figure was the current head of the Lin family, Lin Jianshan. Seeing that even Lin Jianshan had appeared, Jiayu's expression couldn't help but change slightly. Lin Jianshan appearing so quickly was far beyond his expectations. He had originally planned to leave immediately after dealing with Lin Kishin. Jiayu didn't hesitate and immediately used his movement skill to turn and run. This Lin Jianshan was one of the few Tongshuan experts in Kaoyang Ancient City. The Tongshuan realm was the realm above the defensive Profound realm. Jiayu had no chance of winning against Lin Jianshan, and might even be killed in an instant. You hurt my son, and you still want to run. Lin Jianshan's expression was extremely gloomy as he coldly snorted, and the profound Kai around his body surged. The profound Kai around his body gradually solidified, forming a Kai aura that shot towards Jiayu at a speed that couldn't be seen with the naked body. The speed of this Kai aura was actually much faster than Jiayu's movement skill, and could almost catch up to Jiayu in the next second. Ding! Congratulations, Master! The superior yellow rank profound skill Ling Chan Steps has successfully broken through to the greater heights realm. Ding! Superior yellow rank profound skill Ling Chan Steps has been detected, and has automatically upgraded to inferior black rank profound skill 1000 illusory flash. At the same time, Jiayu used Ling Chan Steps to escape the Lin family mansion. Coincidentally, the superior yellow rank Ling Chan Steps had also been upgraded to inferior black rank 1000 illusory flash. He was pleasantly surprised, as there was always a way out. There was a huge difference between a profound rank profound skill and a yellow rank profound skill, and its speed was definitely much faster than a yellow rank profound skill. With this low profound rank movement technique, he should be able to escape. However, before Jai could be happy for more than a second, an invisible kai aura shot towards his back. Suddenly, he felt as if his back was being torn apart by some kind of incomparably sharp gas. In an instant, as if he had suffered a heavy blow, he fell forward uncontrollably. Ding! Master's body has suffered heavy injuries. Experience gained from the yellow rank low class profound skill thick earth armor. 10,999 times. An incomparably large wound had appeared on Jai's back. Blood flowed uncontrollably from the wound. Jai's face was pale as he coughed up a mouthful of blood. The piercing pain in his back made it difficult for him to get up. Seeing that Jai had lost the ability to escape, Lin Johnson's face was filled with a cruel and merciless smile. He slowly walked towards Jai. I absolutely can't. I can't die here. With great difficulty, Jai propped himself up with his hands. The intense pain in his back made his expression very ugly, and he was about to faint from the pain. However, the intense unwillingness and hatred in his heart supported him to maintain his last bit of consciousness. He had yet to take his revenge. How could he die here like this? The veins on Jai's forehead bulged. He angrily roared and used the 1,000 illusory flash. This was his final struggle. Ding! Master has used the 1,000 illusory flash. Experience gained from the 1,000 illusory flash, 209,099 times. Seeing that Jai could still move, Lin Johnson's expression suddenly changed. He used the same move again, and another profound Kai aura attacked Jai. However, he was shocked to see that the profound Kai aura he used this time could not catch up to that brat. He could only watch as that brat disappeared into the distance. It wasn't that he didn't want to chase, but that he was too careless. By the time he realized that something was wrong, it was already too late to chase. Lin Johnson's expression became incomparably gloomy once again. Jai, you dared to hurt my son. I will definitely make you pay with your blood. At this time, Jai's consciousness was already blurred. He didn't even know where he had escaped to, but he was worried that Lin Johnson would catch up. He used the last of his willpower to use the 1,000 illusory flash again. After a while, his consciousness almost disappeared, and his body fell forward uncontrollably. Suddenly, he felt a soft sensation on his face, but his body was powerless. He couldn't even open his eyes as his consciousness faded away. In the next moment, he completely lost consciousness. Jai didn't know that it was Jong Yuixin who had discovered him while taking a stroll. When he was about to lose consciousness and fall forward, it was Jong Yuixin who used her own body to protect him. Jai. Jong Yuixin hugged Jai who had fallen on top of her and continuously called out Jai's name. However, Jai still didn't give any response. Jong Yuixin immediately understood that Jai had fainted. At this time, she suddenly discovered that her hands were covered in blood. Her pupils shrank as she looked at Jai's back. She saw a ghastly wound with blood continuously flowing out. She immediately looked away, not having the heart to look. Jong Yuixin gently hugged Jai's head in her arms. She couldn't help but tear up. How long has it been? What did you experience during this time? It hadn't even been an hour since she and Jai had parted ways at the city gates. In such a short period of time, the powerful Jai was actually injured to such a miserable state. She really couldn't imagine what had happened to Jai. Jong Yuixin understood that now wasn't the time to cry. She hurriedly wiped the tears from her cheeks and carefully carried Jai on her back. Although her body was petite, she was still an 8th-level body tempering realm martial cultivator. Carrying a man on her back was not a problem. Ignoring the gazes of the surrounding people, Jong Yuixin walked step by step back to the city lord's mansion. Chapter 45. In a small room, an old man with blood on his face was protecting a young man. His eyes were fixed on the young man in luxurious clothes opposite him. His eyes were full of determination. Run! The old man shouted angrily and rushed to the luxurious young man. The young man wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes, but he couldn't wipe away the sorrow in his eyes. He tried to escape from the back door. Before he escaped far, he couldn't help but look back. The old man in the room had been pierced through the chest by a sword, but he was looking at him with a gratified smile. At this moment, the dream shattered. Jai suddenly opened his eyes, but there was only white in front of him. When he looked carefully, he was lying on a bed. He immediately understood that it was just a dream. Recalling the face of the luxurious young man in the dream, Jai's eyes suddenly turned cold. Hiss! Jai was about to get up when he suddenly felt an unbearable pain in his back. Only then did he realize that he was seriously injured. Your injury is still very serious. You'd better not move. Suddenly, a cold and pleasant voice came. Jai Yu subconsciously exclaimed. Zhang Yu? He was just about to say the name Zhang Yuixin. But at the same time, he saw a red figure. I'm Zhang Yuechu. The girl in the red dress said. Jai Yu recognized the girl in the red dress. She was Zhang Yuixin's sister. He had met her once in the grocery store outside the Demon Beast mountain range. Moreover, Zhang Yuechu was the eldest daughter of the City Lord Mansion and the first martial arts genius in Kaoyang Ancient City. Almost everyone in Kaoyang Ancient City knew her. Did you save me? The pain in his back made Jai Yu's voice tremble slightly. It wasn't me who saved you. It was Zhang Yuixin. She didn't sleep last night and is now sleeping next to you. Zhang Yuechu said coldly. Jai Yu endured the pain in his back and turned his head. Because he was lying on the bed and not lying down, turning his head slightly would affect his back. However, if he was lying down, it would only hurt more. As soon as he turned his head, he saw Zhang Yuixin curled up and sleeping soundly beside him like a little kitten. Seeing the tear stains on Zhang Yuixin's cheeks, Jai Yu couldn't help but feel touched. She slowly reached out and gently wiped away the remaining tears at the corners of Zhang Yuixin's eyes. If it wasn't for Zhang Yuixin saving him, he probably would have died in some unknown place. Wait a minute. At this moment, Jai Yu suddenly felt that something was wrong. What Zhang Yuechu said just now was that she didn't sleep at all. He didn't sleep the entire night. Jai Yu immediately asked, How long have I been unconscious? About half a day. Zhang Yuechu replied, I see. Jai Yu slowly let out a sigh of relief. He thought that he had been unconscious for a few days. He continued to ask, Is this the city lord's mansion? From what he could see, he seemed to be in a young girl's boudoir. That's right. This is Zhang Yuixin's boudoir. She was the one who carried you here and personally treated your wounds and changed your clothes. Zhang Yuixin said expressionlessly. There was no trace of emotion on her delicate face. Hearing Zhang Yuixin's words, Jai Yu couldn't help but fall silent. Also, when she carried you here, she didn't tell anyone. Apart from me, no one knows that you're in her room. While no one knows that you're here, you should hurry and leave this place when your wounds are more or less healed. Zhang Yuechu said with a cold gaze. Jai Yu couldn't help but frown slightly. This woman's attitude made him very uncomfortable. But it was true that he was surrounded by enemies in Kaoyang Ancient City. It was normal that he wasn't liked by the city lord's mansion, so he didn't say anything. Sister, don't talk to him like that. He did not know when Zhang Yuixin had woken up. Her nose was slightly wrinkled. That's all I have to say. Zhang Yuechu didn't pay attention to Zhang Yuixin. She left those words to Jai Yu and leisurely left. Just as she was about to leave the room, she turned around and said to Zhang Yuixin, Also, don't call me sister in the future. I'm not your sister. Hearing Zhang Yuechu's cold and emotionless voice, Jai Yu's expression became a little strange. He felt that the relationship between these two sisters was very strange. He glanced at Zhang Yuixin. He saw that Zhang Yuixin had a depressed expression and was silent. After Zhang Yuechu left, Jai Yu solemnly thanked Zhang Yuixin. I can't thank you enough for this kindness. He originally wanted to ask about the relationship between these two sisters. But after thinking about it, he didn't want to get involved. After all, he was just an outsider. Hearing Jai Yu's serious tone, Zhang Yuixin's originally gloomy face couldn't help but laugh. Who are the two of us? What's there to be grateful for? As soon as her voice fell, she felt that her words had a different meaning. She hurriedly explained, What I meant was that we're friends for life. Don't misunderstand. Chapter 46. What? Jai Yu was a bit confused. He didn't understand the meaning behind Zhang Yuixin's words. However, Jai Yu didn't care about such a trivial matter. As long as Zhang Yuixin's mood could recover a bit, it was fine. Let's not talk about this anymore. I really want to know what happened to you after we separated yesterday. At this moment, Zhang Yuixin suddenly asked. It's all in the past. Let's not talk about it. Jai Yu hesitated for a moment before speaking in a low voice. The reason why he didn't want to talk about what happened yesterday was that he didn't want Zhang Yuixin to interfere in the matter between him and the Lin and Chen families. Zhang Yuechu's words just now and Zhang Yuixin's loss of composure in the underground world. Through these factors, he could guess that Zhang Yuixin's situation wasn't very good. although he didn't know what exactly was wrong. He didn't want Zhang Yuixin to be caught in the whirlpool between him and the Lin and Chen families. Why? Are you unwilling to tell me? However, Zhang Yuixin didn't say this sentence out loud. And Zhang Yuixin finally let out a low sigh. Her expression was a bit sad, although she knew that it was definitely the Lin family or the Chen family that did this to Jiayu. She couldn't help much if Jiayu didn't reveal the truth. This made her feel very useless. She wasn't someone that Jiayu could rely on at all. The atmosphere became very heavy. Jiayu wanted to ease the atmosphere and joked, "This room is really childish and cute. It must be your room." However, Zhang Yuixin didn't respond at all. The atmosphere suddenly became heavy and awkward. This time, Jiayu really didn't know what to say. The two of them were silent for a long time. Zhang Yuixin seemed to have calmed down a little. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and said, "The injury on your back is still very serious. You should continue to rest. I'll get you some more pills." "There's no need for pills. I have a lot of branches in my storage ring that I used to roast fish in the underground world. You can try to boil them into medicine later. They should be effective." As she spoke, Jiayu took out many tree branches from her storage ring. When he discovered that these branches had healing properties, he deliberately collected some of them. He didn't expect that they would come in handy so soon. "I didn't expect you to take these away. This makes things a little easier." Zhang Yuixin was both delighted and surprised. She immediately ran out of the room with the branches in her arms. Seeing that Zhang Yuixin had left, Jiayu began to recall what had happened yesterday. He deeply remembered that Lin Junshin had only used one move to make him lose his ability to resist. That move was a move unique to Tongshuan realm experts. Once a martial cultivator entered the Tongshuan realm, they would be able to release the Xuan Kai in their body and form a Xuan Kai aura. It could be used for both offense and defense. It was an extremely powerful ability. If he hadn't broken through his limit at the last moment, he would have already died in Lin Junshin's hands. At this moment, Jiayu's eyes instantly became extremely gloomy. He clenched his fists so tightly that his nails dug into his palms. The strong impulse in his heart made him ignore the blood flowing out of his palms and the intense pain from his back. That was to become stronger. The reason why he had fallen to such a state was because he was too weak. He shouldn't vent his anger on his tragic and innocent fate. Instead, he should work hard to become stronger. As long as he was strong enough to become invincible, then all fate was nonsense. Without any hesitation, Jiayu gritted his teeth and forcefully endured the pain in his back. He immediately sat up and began to cultivate his Xuan Kai. If he didn't become stronger as soon as possible, when he met the Lin family and the Chen family in the future, his end would be even more miserable than now. Jiayu desperately cultivated his Xuan Kai. However, he did notice that Zhang Yuechu was secretly watching everything from outside the window. Seeing this youth forcefully endure the pain and crawl up to cultivate, Zhang Yuechu's cold eyes couldn't help but flash a trace of emotion. It was already very miraculous that this youth could hold on until today. If it was a normal person, they wouldn't be able to wake up again. She felt that it was very inconceivable. Such tenacious willpower shocked her to no end. Zhang Yuechu coldly stared at Jiayu. Her eyes flashed with a strange light as she pondered. Soon, she left.